Here's Hughes' response to Aaron Creasy. So Creasy's question is, so they sent you a draft of that proposed agreement, but you didn't accept it. Keep in mind, the proposed agreement is basically just say you fucking did steroids and it's all good. There's no punishment. Literally. All Burnett has to do is go, guys, I'm sorry. That's it. He doesn't get suspended. He keeps the UFC heavyweight title. Everything is all good. If he can just go, yep, guys, I did it. Nope. Time to talk shit on the SureDog.net forums, get in a fight with Thomas Rios where everyone makes fun of you and drives you off the forums, and then just go fucking to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Here's Matt Hume's response. It's not that we didn't accept it. We said this isn't what we agreed to. And then we redrafted it and sent it back to them. Then they redrafted theirs, and we went back and forth with drafts for a long time with the expectation that we were going to have an agreement based upon what we agreed to in the teleconference. It was one word we couldn't agree on, and that word was knowingly.
What up, everybody? This is Pulver. Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. I am back here with my co-host, Chris Madaffer. What up, dude?
Well, on cue with that is the new Fathom IPA, not IPO, from Ballast Point Brewing.
That's pretty tight. How you digging it?
It's good. I like it a lot. It's like IPO, but a little more bitter. But it's just a solid IPA.
That's what's up, dude. Well, I am, since this is SoberOctobert, if you guys don't know, definitely go listen to the podcast that Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, and Ari Shaffir did with Joe Rogan, where they basically have a semi-intervention on Bert, which turns into they are not going to drink or smoke weed for all of October, except for Joe Rogan, which, by the way, everybody go ahead and send out the hashtag pray for Joe, because that fucking stoner can't stop smoking weed. I say that while I'm super high. But I am not drinking anything this month, which is going to be fucking rough. So, actually, this episode...
You are having...
Yeah, this episode is actually technically powered by science. I got the sweet cherry lime science that I'm going to be drinking during the episode, because that shit seemed appropriate.
Is it as bad as cannabis energy drink?
No, it tastes like a Slurpee without the ice.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's alright. You want to try it? But yeah, so if you guys, now that we've gotten through our sponsor, non-sponsor intro like we always do, we are going to be talking about, if you guys have not heard the show before, we break down the MMA podcasts that we listen to each week. We'll let you guys know which ones we recommend you catch, some skips, or a skip, one that you can't miss, and just a couple other shows that we thought were dope that we wanted to give some love to. So now that I am all fucking weird and out of sorts because I'm not used to being sober during this show, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your catch for this week?
Yeah, my catch for this week is going to be the MMA Hour. Mainly because the three guests that I listened to were entertaining. Dominic Cruz, always very insightful what he has to say.
I will go ahead and jump in here and say that my catch for this week is the MMA Hour.
There we go.
Episode 402. It was just a great example of Ariel's show.
Yeah. These were the only three. The only three guests I listened to were Dominic Cruz, Volkan Oezdemir, and Alistair Overeem. Who else did he have on there again? I know he had some other guys.
Let's see. He had Reem. He had Frank Shamrock calls in. Okay. Andrea KGB Lee calls in.
He had fucking Ali
Abdelaziz
yeah, I tried listening
in.
to that, but I couldn't buy his bullshit.
Yep. Rafael Natal was in studio, and Oh, the other thing was Mackenzie Dern called in.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of good guests, and it was a dope example of Ariel's show. The Don Cruz stuff was interesting, though. He was talking about fighting Rivera and why he took the fight. Talking about dealing with Sean Shelby and all that.
Yeah, it just came down to Sean Shelby was pretty much saying, well, I can't guarantee you a title shot, so you're going to have to do something. Why don't you fight Rivera? And Don Cruz was like, all right. I mean, according to him, he's, 100% healthy now? Like, he says his foot isn't really bothering him.
Yeah. He's ready to get back into camp, is what it sounded like.
And so
it didn't sound like he's, fixed, but it sounds like he's ready.
Yeah, when he fights, it'll have been a year exactly since his last fight, December 30th.
Yeah, and he said he wanted about that much time before to rest.
And I think that was the good call on his part.
For sure. Yeah, because he said going into the Cody fight, it was fucking with him bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, granted, that Cody fight, he fought like he never has before as far as switching up his game plan.
True. Well, and Cody was fucking...
Well, and he didn't realize...
Came out on fire.
Yeah.
But,
he didn't realize he'd be that advanced as far as... By how much little fighting experience he had up to that point.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other thing you mentioned that I noticed was he was talking about working with Rogan in the booth. Because Ariel's like, I like how you're not afraid to give Rogan some shit. Of course, he didn't say it like that because he's Ariel. But essentially, yeah, Don was like, that's why I like working with Rogan, because we'll both just constantly question what each other is saying and be like, I don't know, is that actually legit?
Yeah.
I thought that was
He just likes to learn from Rogan, and they kind of just basically learn from each other.
Yeah, I thought it was a funny tag. Reem was cool. Reem talked about...
Rico Verhoeven a lot.
Yep,
talked
a lot about Rico.
Rivalry, right?
I mean, in like the nicest Dutch way.
Yeah, yeah. We're not friends.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I mean, I want him to be big in Holland. That's cool. But the Holland doesn't like kickboxing, so...
well, yeah, because they said... He mentioned something about the Netherlands just not liking fighting in general, and I was probably like, no matter when I asked a couple Dutch people, they're like they'd heard of MMA, but they're just
and they knew kickboxing and stuff, but they're just like...
we don't care.
Yeah. It's like
it's because one of the bartenders was like, yeah, honestly, like, what time would they show it? Like 4 a.m.? No one's awake. There's no bars open.
True, especially for MMA, yeah. And then kickboxing over there, while it's big, it's not like big, like stadium big.
Yeah.
It's like asking people about soccer over here. Like, yeah, we know what it is.
I'll say this, though. Really. The fact that they always have an event every year in Rotterdam, that at least shows there is still Dutch support, for sure.
For sure. And, yeah, well...
Although it's once a year.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where I think the UFC likes to do those shows just so they can say they do shows there. They can be like, we're in 48 countries or whatever.
Well, we do know they need to come back here, and they should, they should just do it at Viejas. No, that's too small.
Yeah, they come here like every handful. Well, Sports Arena's not that big, but yeah, they come here like every 4 or 5 years. San Diego, if you guys don't know, which you should, motherfuckers. But yeah, anyway, we'll get back to more shit about Reem. He also talked about how he tried to visit Takayama in the hospital.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And how he ended up visiting, I forget the other dude's name, but another...
Didn't he meet up with Sakuraba?
I don't think it was Sakuraba, but he might have. Breen was talking about a lot of stuff with Ariel. And then Ariel started getting creepy about kids' diapers again, like he likes to do. It's like, I love it. I bathe in my daughter's diapers. Like, bro, you gotta work on that phrasing, dog. It's terrible phrasing.
Is that what he said?
It was something really close to along those lines. Yeah, it's really upsetting. Ariel also dropped in the middle of this that he mentioned that Gus is like not injured, but he's like
rehabbing something, right?
Yeah, he's like in the middle of rehabbing something.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think he said something along the lines of Gus is off the shelf right now or something like that.
Well, because speaking of Gus, did you hear Volkan?
Yep. Volkan's
talking about watch sponsorships, possibly. Or,
yep, exactly. Who was that with?
I can't.
Was that Ariel last week?
No, that was this week.
Who was it? He was on somebody's show. Because I heard that same fucking podcast. Who was that? Was that Ariel's show?
Yeah.
Really? I just have no notes on that, I guess. Weird.
So maybe he was talking.
Yeah, he was talking about.
He was talking about how they're like, oh, how big are you in Switzerland right now? He was like, still not Roger Federer, kind of thing. Well, I don't think anyone will.
Right.
But he said he was just blessed to have DC basically kind of confirmed that they're fighting early next year.
Oh, right, that's how the Gus thing came up. That's right. I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed all that.
That's all good?
Yeah.
Who do you like in that? I mean, my brain just picks DC because Volkan... Well, I can't ever
Volkan's
say...
so scary.
I think he probably hits almost just as hard as Rumble, too.
Or, yeah.
Or harder. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe harder. Maybe he hits like fucking Derek Lewis. He's fucking scary, man. The way he's been just killing people is fucking terrifying.
Because you know what would happen? If he knocked DC the fuck out, then you get Gus to fight him. I don't know. See, I wouldn't pick anyone against Volkan if he knocks DC the fuck out.
Yeah, if he knocks DC out, fucking send that dude to heavyweight for a double championship fight.
No, because remember, Rumble's coming back to heavyweight.
Okay, yes, please. Let's definitely see Volkan
training partners,
versus Rumble.
They're training partners.
Right.
They're buddies, dude. Yeah, they won't fight each other.
I forgot.
Yeah, they're both at Club Combat.
Why can't we have nice things in MMA? Just fight your friend, bro.
I remember Rumble in an interview said either like, "Oh, your training partner Volkan has like fucking hands of death," and he said, "I think I gave him some of my powers in sparring." I think that's what he said.
That's hilarious. That's super funny, dude. Yeah, somebody was talking about how they. Oh, Reem was talking about how he loves Volkan.
Oh, yeah, because he was the one who introduced him to mixed martial arts, and he was training him.
Yep.
Where was it? In L.A.? I think in L.A.
Something like that, yeah.
Somewhere down in California.
Pretty funny, though. Reem comes off as either the biggest dick or, like, the nicest dude, depending on what day it is and who he's talking to.
He seems like he's genuinely a nice guy.
But he also seems like he'd slap you in the mouth if he was having a bad day.
Yeah.
Just because you look fucking weird, he'd just slap you right in the mouth.
He'd just be like, "You come here. I don't like your face right now."
No, he wouldn't tell you. He'd be like, "Hey," and then he'd just slap you in the mouth, and he'd be like, just like kind of shrug at you and walk away. You're like, well, what do I do with that information? Speaking of dudes who have a weird smirk all the time, Frank Shamrock called into the show, talking about taking on Sakuraba as a replacement against, which was supposed to be Hendo, but Hendo got injured, which is kind of dope. He talked. Oh, God. Oh, he said it was going to be a 10-minute match, and everything's allowed except for heel hooks. And it's a draw if it goes the distance. Just like the basic Ryzen grappling match rules. Pretty cool, but weird to hear Frank. I always like Frank, but Frank always comes off a little smarmy. But it was cool hearing him talk about being, what's-his-face, Mauro Ranello's manager and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Love me some Mauro Ranello.
What's funny is I still will always confuse Frank with Ken.
Yeah, oh, well, that's ironic. Ken is the bigger one. Ken is the one who fought Hoist, and Ken is...
In Bellator, right? And he got kicked in the balls real hard. Who's that Ken?
Yes, that's amazing. That's the first one you think of. He's fought him 3 times. The first 2 are like in the... I know,
but that's the one I remember last.
I know, but that was
on, like, TV
that's just the funniest reference of when I bring that up. You like me when he got kicked in the dick in Bellator?
Well, because when I also think of Ken Shamrock, I also remember watching... SmackDown when I was like 10.
Oh, when The Rock hit him in the face with the chair?
Not that one. It was when Sting had fucking like 2 different like fucking bamboo reeds and like broke his ribs. He just started whacking the shit out of him when he's on the ground.
Sounds about right. I want to say Ken Shamrock.
They're like, oh my God, he's getting his injured ribs.
I want to
stop the damn match.
By God, yeah, right. Wait. I want to say back in the day.
Dude, this was like easily in 2000.
Oh, I'm saying back in the day, like. In the 90s, I think, what's his face?
It is the 90s. Because Shamrock was in the WWE or F,
well,
right?
I was going to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure
yeah.
Ken was a ref during one of the WrestleManias in the 90s. Like, I'm pretty positive he was.
But I remember Sting was the guy who beat the shit out of him. I mean, these 2 fucking bamboo sticks.
Shit.
Yeah. He broke his ribs.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Ken's a weird dude. Anyway, Frank's the younger brother, the tan one, the one who Nick Diaz beat up real bad in Strikeforce.
Oh, yeah.
That was his last fight. That's a fucking beating, dude. That was ugly. Some classic Nick Diaz shit. Let's see. Oh, KGB Lee calls in to talk about the USADA bullshit. Because if you guys don't know, Andrea KGB Lee got added to 216, I think at the beginning of, like, the end of last week, beginning of this week. And then she got dropped from UFC 216 because because evidently no one thought about the fact that there's a 6-month testing period for USADA.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is, how do you not... I know that. The internet knows that. Everyone on Twitter in the forums were like, "Oh, what about the testing period? Has she been enrolled, or what's the deal with that?" And everyone's
I
like,
just saw today. I think she announced that she actually has a contract signed.
Yeah, she's actually signed up and getting tested by USADA right now.
Okay.
But yeah, she got flagged for a diuretic last year, which is because a lot of times they'll waive the 6-month testing, but since she got flagged for a diuretic, they're not going to let her in, which is a bummer because diuretics are like. That is more of a weight loss thing, more likely than anything. But what are you gonna do? Because I think she said it was literally a water pill. But yeah, I'll be excited to see KGB Lee in. I was excited when I thought she was going to be in. This would have been a really fun fight. So hopefully they rematch it down the line. Let's see. Ali Abdelaziz, the garbage Kadyrov associate, calls in.
Oh, wait. Sorry to interrupt. I tried to listen to some of it. I fast-forwarded. Was this asshole who was like saying, oh, if Tony has something to say, let's step in the octagon? I swear to God he said something along those lines.
I don't know if he did, but
he
doesn't sound not like...
He threatened to beat him up. Like, all right.
Yeah. I mean... He did one of those...
Hey, Ali, are you still on the FBI's most wanted list?
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
You remember that shit, right?
Well, yeah.
He changed his identity like fucking
He's not allowed to leave the
times.
country. Yeah. Which is why he sends all his fighters to fucking hang out with Kadyrov.
He was linked to like some Al-Qaeda or Taliban dudes back in like 2001, 2002.
He has a very sketchy history of like... I mean, he was also a manager and matchmaker and owner in WSOF, and until all of a sudden he was never any of those things, and what are you guys talking about? So, Ali Abdelaziz is super shady. He makes Malky Kawa look like a fucking saint, which is saying something, because I hate Malky. Love his brother, though. I never hear from his brother. His brother always seems to be doing great work. I remember his brother
was in I think it was another episode of MMA Hour. His brother was on there.
And he was on there making fun of how Malky talks too much.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I think he was like, Malky, shut up now.
Yeah. It's real good. But yeah, it's Ali just doing Ali things. Ali, of course, explains how maricon really just means bitch, not faggot.
No, but okay.
Yeah, all great advice from a dude who hangs out with the Chechen dictator who is known for rounding up and killing gay people.
He's like, Ali, this
right? Oh my god. Yeah, a lot of upsetting shit from him. Talk about Performance Institute, where he's actually like calling in from. It rambles about Khalibib and Verdum and how Tony's fake and blah blah blah. Rafael Natal joins Ariel in studio to announce his retirement.
He announced his retirement.
Yeah, he had the eye issue, which was kind of crazy. Kind of a cool interview, super genuine. And then Mackenzie Dern calls in to look attractive and talk about fighting in LFA on Friday.
Is she the judo chick?
No, high-level jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. Who is that Wonder the chick that's kind of like a Rousey, but I have no idea if they can strike?
I have no idea.
I don't know. There's another person.
Yeah.
One or the other.
I forget her name. No, Mackenzie Dern's the high-level jiu-jitsu girl who's super... Go ahead and check out her Instagram if you guys have not. Good Lord.
Like trying hard as a
no, just good googly moogly. That's a
out.
Not bad looking lady right there. Speaking of not bad looking ladies, on that episode they were actually rounded out talking about the old Strikeforce Playboy events, which is pretty funny. Since Hugh passed away, it's cool hearing Ariel's take on that since he was actually at that, which he had. Like, there's a video evidently of him on that, and it's pretty ridiculous. And then let's see. Just overall, I thought it was one of Ariel's better shows. Like, I really enjoyed it. Ariel's just... that's exactly why that show is almost always a must-listen. Like, for if you're, like, getting into MMA or MMA podcasts or anything, that is absolutely the first one I would recommend people check out and just find some guests that you think will be interesting or put it on in the background for 18 hours and let it play. Because it seems to do that.
Mackenzie Dern is definitely good looking.
Yeah, she's definitely not bad looking. So let's see. Why don't we get into what is your skip for this week? Hold on. Let's take one quick break while the fucking dog upstairs
slamming the refrigerator door on someone's head.
Yeah, well, I think he's beating up the dog upstairs. So we'll be right back here in just a second. You guys won't even notice the difference.
My skip for this week is a podcast that I never listened to because of one certain person. And I decided to listen to it today because there was a plug about the show when I was listening to Submission Radio.
Oh, wow.
And the podcast that is my skip is Bushido Talk. Thanks to Naya Rodriguez.
I did not prompt this at all. Also, remember last time I told you I have stopped listening to that show because John Hackelman left.
Yeah.
And I love Tommy.
I like Tommy Toehold, but every time Naya Rodriguez would talk, I just kind of like I'm kind of drowned out. Like, imagine, Chris, if I just talked to this whole time. Alright, guys, welcome to the Sound of Violence. I'm just going to tell you this whole time. Aren't you guys already bored right now? Because not only can you barely hear me, I'm just, sound really uninteresting.
Well, the good news is that...
And I don't want to marry Brett Michaels, or Shawn Michaels, the WD guy, since I was 7. Just a disclaimer.
Yeah.
That's what she kept talking about, and it was just fuck.
That's brutal.
Because originally they were talking about something.
That's such a good girl. That's such a good-looking girl thing to do. Is talk really quietly so other people have to pay attention to you because
she either talks quietly because she wants attention, or she just sounds fucking high all the time. So I can't.
No, because she doesn't sound high. I know Kimberly Congdon is and Sarah Weinschenk are great examples.
Oh
of
no,
people
yeah, she
who
doesn't sound high
high
because she didn't really talk like
sounds
that.
like she's on methadone.
Yeah. She just sounds way too mellowed out.
Yeah.
Either way, they kind of talked about Holloway versus Edgar. Not really. Tommy thinks Edgar is always fighting for a title, and he actually says that Edgar shouldn't deserve another title fight. That doesn't make any sense, because who else is there at featherweight?
Yeah, I think that's a great matchup, too.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to see that fight?
He says Dominic Cruz for 219 should have a headset while he fights, so he can commentate himself while fighting.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Look for a Tommy Toll video on that, I'm sure.
He said, Sage Northcutt is young since he was born after the first Jurassic Park movie came out in theaters.
That's Jesus Christ.
Just turned 21.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 96. That checks out.
That's fucked up. That's a fucked up stat.
Biz being accused GSP of roids again. What's new? And I said, Naya makes you want to sleep. That's all I have for that one. It was legit out of the hours that they had. 35 minutes, 40 minutes easy of non-MMA talk.
Yeah, that's kind of what that show's turned into, is after John left, Tommy just kind of lets Naya wander, and they talk about, video games and shit now. It's fucking ridiculous. My show, actually, I have mostly as a skip for a super similar reason. Big Brown Breakdown, episode 45. Brendan opens getting super preachy about the Vegas shooting stuff, which we're not going to address this week, apart from the MMA shows that all seem the need to address it, which I don't fucking get. I don't get it. I don't get why you're talking about it on your podcast.
I'll just say this. I'm not.
Oh, God, here we go. As I'm giving a disclaimer about I don't know why.
I'll just say this. The only reason why we don't mention it is because I kind of feel like the reason people mention it on social media is, I don't want to say they're being selfish, but it's self-explanatory. You feel bad for what happened, and you move on. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Well, my thought is...
You shouldn't make it about you.
My thoughts are always
I know some of the plugs were innocent and really meant well.
No, I know, but my thoughts are always okay... If you're not from Vegas and you want to hear an MMA show, you're probably not listening for them to talk about Vegas shootings.
Exactly.
If you are from Vegas and you listen to an MMA show, you probably don't want to hear them talk about shootings. So, why are you doing it, bro? But whatever. Do what you want, John Anik.
Yeah.
So, Big Brown Breakdown opens talking about that. He says the phrase, "You're more likely to die in America than any other country." Thought that was adorable. It's not what he meant, but he obviously, there was more. It was in context, but that was a direct quote.
Was it this?
Yeah, with this
man,
cross legs.
Now I think about it, you're more likely to die in America than in a lot of countries.
Huh? Skeptical hippo eyes at that. Let's see. He talks about Wilder Ortiz and how he heard it's still happening despite the PED failure from Ortiz, the boxing match.
Wait, what?
Ortiz popped for something.
Wait, when you say Ortiz, which one? There's a lot of Ortizes.
The one who's fighting Deontay Wilder.
I'm so confused.
I don't follow boxing well enough to know it all.
Oh, I know the name Deontay Wilder. Oh, this must be that guy, Fuck. It's the guy Mayweather
It's not
knocked
Tito.
out.
Yeah.
It's the guy Mayweather knocked
Victor
out.
Ortiz?
Yeah, Victor. Must be Victor. Yeah.
I think that's right. I'm so bad with boxers' names because I always mix them up with MMA guys. Swear to God, I'm going to fucking dropkick that little dog upstairs. Let's see. Brennan says UFC needs to get away from money fights.
No, they don't.
It's also, well, I think they probably do, but
Well,
it's also the
depends.
funny is hearing that dude say that shit after he not only worked the fucking Conor Floyd fight, but has been saying he wanted Conor Nate 3 for a long time, and like just all kinds of misty shit. As Eugene S. Robinson would say. Oh, yeah, he does have Kevin Lee on, which is cool. Brendan also, I fucking wrote down mad angry notes in the middle of this show because I was listening on YouTube, and YouTube, he has 5 fucking YouTube ads per a 90-minute show, which I did the math is like 5.5% of his show is fucking YouTube ads.
Oh, wow.
Just real annoying. He always complains about like, oh, fucking these guys who put ads in the middle of their show. Fucking, he does it all the time on YouTube. He just doesn't. He doesn't ever look at his YouTube channel, so he doesn't know it.
Wow.
Super annoying. Yeah, a lot of dumb shit. Brennan brings up the fact. Oh, he did bring up one interesting thing, which was that he's surprised they're doing GSP versus Bisping in New York, since both those dudes have eye problems. And the New York Commission is known for like flagging people for weird medical shit.
Yeah, huh.
But that's like where Shaw got flagged for the brain thing.
Or like when Pearl Gonzalez got flagged for
the
fake
titties. Yeah. Speaking of which, shouts out to her fighting on 216. Yeah, just, I mean, and then he did have a decent conversation with Kevin Lee in which he kind of just did his usual.
Was it a battle of the likes?
No, although I'm bad at catching that stuff, so maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I just missed it.
You remember that dumb video I showed you? Someone could do.
Yeah. Those are real good. I think that was about it. Other than that, oh yeah, they just talked about Khabib and both agree that Conor won't fight Tony. He'll only fight Kevin, which. Yeah, I could.
Yeah, it's an easier fight.
Well, yeah, style matchup wise, like Tony's a terrible style matchup. But just this whole show was a skip for me because very like even though there was some fight talk, it was just Brendan being like talking generic. Like he spent like probably 30 to 35 minutes talking about Conor. Which is like...
So just being a goof.
Well, it's like a lot of the shows this week that it kept bugging me while I was listening to shows is they kept just bringing up, like, rather than actually talking about the fight this weekend, they would just immediately be like, well, this is an interim belt, so really it's a battle to see who's going to fight Conor.
Yeah, this is like who gets
and
the
then it just turns into like,
for the main event.
Yeah. Well, and then it just immediately turns into a conversation about, oh, so who's Conor going to fight next? Is he going to fight the winner of this? Is he going to fight fucking Paulie Malignaggi in MMA? Jesus Christ, bro. Everyone has to have the same conversation. Everyone.
It's like, dude, the Athletic Commission wouldn't even let Paulie Malignaggi fucking near a goddamn octagon.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen the fucking Athletic Commission in New York, or in Vegas, rather?
It's not lately.
They let them fight in boxing gloves that aren't allowed for that weight class. They fucking hired Adelaide Bird. They're bad at everything.
Well, I hope that fight happens when McGregor's not champion, because I would love to see Paul Malignaggi's head get knocked off his shoulders. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, yeah, it'd be even funnier if he knocked Conor out.
That would be funny.
Fucking the world would explode, dog. It'd be like fucking Sarah.
You'd be like, Conor, where's your balls? I run MMA.
Jesus
boxing, Christ. That's my side piece.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You already know he'd pull up. He'd think he'd be like so clever.
Paulie fucking Malignaggi.
The fucking magic man.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. So anyway, yeah, that's my skip for this week, because Brendan Schaub ain't bringing the heat. But Chris, why don't you get us into what show do you think people shouldn't miss this week?
Can't miss for me is UFC Unfiltered. It was with Mighty Mouse, Kevin Lee. Those are the two call-ins.
And then the third
I'll get to it. This one, so I can't miss. So the first one, Kevin Lee, he only talks for like 8 minutes because he gets caught in a tunnel when he's driving, and then it's like, that was it. He mainly just talked about how he thinks Ferguson has a bunch of holes in his game, that yada 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 that we've heard. The media tour. I like Kevin's attitude. I think he's a cool guy. Only pretty young still. He's only 25, still up and cut. He's
super young.
He's only going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, he has been getting hella better in his last couple of fights. He's looked better and better.
So I'm stoked to see. We're all stoked to see him, and we'll discuss later on what we think of his skill set when we preview the card. DJ again, I think only talked for about 10 minutes. But the greatest part, and he just talked about breaking the record, that kind of thing, anticipating that. You know, he doesn't mind that he's not the pay-per-view headliner or main event. And the greatest thing is Tony Ferguson just wasn't available. Matt Serra didn't know that. So Jim Norton said, I have to go piss real quick. Little does Matt Serra know, Jim Norton calls and impersonates Tony Ferguson. Terrible impression.
Matt Serra totally buys
initially, I almost thought it was Tony Ferguson.
For like the first 2 sentences.
Don't get me wrong. I was really high.
Yeah.
I almost thought it was Tony Ferguson doing a Jim Norton impression to confuse Matt Serra. Like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense because it sounds like Jim Norton.
Yeah.
That would have been funny, though, if he did that.
That'd be hilarious.
But
also, half the internet bought it, too, because y'all are fucking idiots. I saw like 3 threads about Tony talking shit on, at least on the underground.
Next question.
There was like 2 or 3.
Next question. No,
ridiculous.
I'm not going to answer that. What kind of question is that? He was just basically punky. I thought it was hilarious, though, because Matt is like, that's not really polite, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask you something else.
That's fucking
Hey, if
funny.
you want to leave, you can go ahead and hang up, Tony. I don't want to waste your time, clearly. So it was pretty great.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I actually haven't caught that.
That's why it's
yet,
my can't miss. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
That's fucking fantastic.
And to be fair, if I remember, that's in the last 15 minutes of the episode. I think that happens, last 10 or 15.
That's what I heard. Yeah, so that's definitely been on my list of stuff I want to go back and catch. So that's hilarious. My can't miss for this week. Actually, you guys heard a piece of it on our intro, which is Collapsed MMA. They for UFC 39. You guys don't know about Collapsed MMA. Essentially, their show who goes back and... If you've ever heard the Lapsed Fan podcast, so like a retrospective wrestling podcast, they call themselves the Lapsed Fan because they're no longer fans. Their fandom has lapsed. And so it is kind of similar with Collapsed MMA. It's actually a pun on it. And it's TJ DeSantis and Jordan Breen. And they've gone back and done the old K1 Dynamite USA card. They did... what was it? Tough One finale, and then they just now put out part 1 of the UFC 39 card, which is, oh god, I don't remember who the main event is. Here, I've got it right here. Main event is Rico Rodriguez versus Randy Couture, and you guys heard on the intro Matt Hume, or them talking about Matt Hume refusing and Josh Barnett refusing to accept Vegas's terms for his when Josh Barnett got caught testing positive after winning the belt and had to give it up. And they went over how, essentially back then, the Vegas Commission, all they wanted was for him to admit he was on steroids, and they would have let him keep the belt and wouldn't have suspended him.
That's nuts.
But Matt Hume was like, see, we had a problem with the word knowingly took steroids. We were fine with it otherwise, but we couldn't get past the word knowingly. So as a result, Josh Barnett gets his house stripped and gets a 6-month suspension. 6-month suspension, by the way. Also, not the first time he tested positive for steroids. This is the second test in a row. But the first test was didn't really count for anything for some reason. But that was them talking about that on the intro, which was hilarious. This show essentially is just an excuse for Jordan Breen to use his crazy encyclopedic knowledge of MMA to talk about, like, for example, they talked about Pride 10 for like a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes, which is not at all what this card is about. It just led into a lot of Pride 10 talk. And then eventually, they talked about Dave Minet's 2800 eyesight. So if you guys don't know what 2800 is, that means for someone, if the normal person can see something 20 feet away... No, wait, sorry. If you're looking at something that's 800 feet away, that means the normal person can see that as well as they can see something... No, wait. You can see that as well as someone can see something 20 feet away.
Oh, wow.
I'm terrible at explaining this, but it's horrible eyesight. And that is, of course, the same show, which... let's play a fun game. Hey, Chris, if you were to pick one thing that is known about Phil Baroni, that you were just going to throw out a phrase that Phil Baroni, what would it be?
Yeah, I'm the best ever.
So that was this fight card, actually, where he is the best ever. And that was after he dribbles Dave Minet's head like a fucking basketball. You've seen that GIF, right?
I think so.
Fucking, here, I'll pull it up. It's Phil Baroni just speed bagging Dave Minet's head. It's fucking horrifying. So I'll pull that up while I keep talking.
I forgot, Baroni, was he a light heavyweight or middle?
I think he was light heavy, but everything was weird back then.
Or was he just a super roided out middleweight? Because that makes a lot of sense too.
I mean, all of the above. I don't know how weight classes worked back then. Like, anyone could have been any weight class back then.
You're right.
Go ahead and watch Phil Brony fucking speedbag Dave Minay's head. It's goddamn brutal.
Is that loading from where you're...
It should be.
Or is that just a sort? It looks like it's an image.
Why is that? It should be a GIF. One of these should be a GIF. What the fuck? What the fuck? Google Images? Are you really doing this? Here, this one will be.
There you
go. Go ahead and watch this. Let's see. Where are the rest of my notes on this?
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah, that's terrible. Where he just fucking speedbags his head.
Terrible.
It's brutal. I think this one's better.
God.
This one? I don't know which one it is.
Oh, man.
There's a much better... Oh, here we go. This one.
Wait, is that the guy he beat up? Is the guy with one of the worst tattoos I've ever seen in my life right there? Is that him, the guy he beat up? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He also, it's also the guy with terrible...
I don't feel bad for him.
It's also the guy with terrible vision.
Clearly after that happened, right?
No.
He had terrible vision.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably led to it as well.
Worse.
Yeah. Fucking hilarious, though. But they talk a lot about that. They also get the old odds, like the odds when the fights happened from Joey Odessa, who's like a longtime bookmaker and like the bookmaker back in the day. So they actually go through as they're talking about the fights and talk about what the odds were. And they also talk about the picks that Jeff Sherwood, Josh Gross, and Greg Savage gave at the time.
Oh, wow.
So, like, they compared the odds to who they picked and then what actually happened. Like, it's pretty funny. Stuff like Jeff Sherwood was like, I'm pretty sure Dave Minay is going to beat Phil Baroni, but I think it's going to be a memorable fight. And he's like, well, it was definitely a memorable fight, but he definitely didn't beat Phil Baroni. Pretty funny, though. It gives you kind of a great feel for what the sport was like at the time and just kind of how much stuff has changed. And both dudes are just have such a crazy encyclopedic knowledge of that time period. It's just really fucking cool. So I'm hyped for part 2. If you guys don't know, part 1 is available for free to everyone. It'll be a link in the description like always. And then the part 2 of all these where they actually break down fight by fight and walk through the card. They do behind their Patreon, on their Patreon page, behind the paywall for between rounds. And I think it's like $4 and you get all the content on there. So I really like that show. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a great fucking example of how fucking hilarious they are. Because I love Jordan Breen, and anytime you can get him to talk about Pride for 30 minutes, about just like crazy shit.
Oh, because Pride is just bananas in general.
Yeah, and it turned into a lot of conversations of like Vanderlei's knockouts and like Pele fucking axe-kicking dudes
Charles Bennett shit.
I don't even know if he came up. I think he did at some point.
Well,
he definitely did come up. Yeah.
Well, I just remember when I was in Europe, I watched that card. You're like, bro, I don't know what time it was. Probably like 8 p.m. here for you, and it was like super early in the morning for me. You're like, dude, I was awake, of course. You're like, you sent me a link of the Ryzen thing.
Yeah, when he fucking killed that dude in Ryzen.
Yeah, and then he said, I'm a ninja. I run real fast.
Yeah.
Called out Candy.
Oh my god, that was the most ridiculous bullshit. Yeah. Oh, fucking crazy horse. He got choked out in like 1 minute by Cody Pfister like a week ago, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, shout out to that dude. But yeah, that was the My Can't Miss for this week. Did you have a new show you listened to?
Not really. I mean, Bushido Talk.
I was going to say, Bushido Talk kind of counts.
No, that doesn't count.
I mean, kind of. I actually did listen to a new show this week, and it was Obviously Fight Talk, episode 83, OFT, is I think how they abbreviate it on, they're all over Reddit and shit like that. But it's Noel Keith and Robert Palin, who are two Irish hosts. I listened because they had Luke Thomas on. James Lynch.
Are they as Irish sounding as Severe Hammer?
Oh, bro, they're very fucking Irish sounding. I'll actually talk about that their cadence in a second. There's Chris getting
Sorry, guys. Fantasy football.
That's right. Fucking hype. Like I said, they had Luke Thomas on, they had James Lynch from Flow Combat, and they had Tom Duquesnoy on, since they're actually kind of friends with Tom Duquesnoy. They've been to a bunch of his fights. Lynch came on first. They basically just broke down the 216 card and who they liked in each of the fights. The dudes definitely do their research on fighters, especially fighters that are guests. Like they know a shitload about Tom Duquesnoy and a decent amount about his opponent, who Stamen. or fucking Daisy Dong, as Conor Rebush referred to him this week.
Oh yeah, because he's like, you know what steaming is? It's a flower cock.
Yeah. Flower cock. There was a lot of good ones. Daisy Dong was his new one this week. I was pretty happy with. They talk though at a crazy high pace. Like I wrote down. They sound like if our show when we do breakdowns, but if we were Irish and on coke. Like, they were talking at such a fast pace between the three of them, Lynch and the two hosts, that I started having a mild panic attack. Because I was just like, Jesus, it sounds like people talking on blow. Like, I know they're just hyped and they just are quick, like, they just talk quickly. But, Jesus, goddamn Christ, it was freaking me out. So, I don't know. I like the show all around. They seem super knowledgeable in general. They gave the most underrated fight pick, which I thought was a cool thing. Each card they talked about, like, oh, this is one fight on the undercards I think everybody should check out. Kind of cool. Luke Thomas called in, which is the first time I'd heard him at least since he went on vacation, which he's back from as of Wednesday, I believe. A lot of McGregor talk, which this is when I wrote down it really sucks that everyone just keeps talking about Conor instead of Ferguson and Lee.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I get it. You're like, oh, the winner of this gets the big ticket.
Yep. And then it just keeps going on of like, oh, well, Holloway, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, Nate, da. And you're like, all right, I get it. Shouts out to that motorcycle. And then the Fire Kid, Tom Duquesnoy, called in to talk about his upcoming fight. And he also talks about how he has some outside stuff, like he does modeling and acting and stuff like that, too.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Which, I'm in France, I would assume, is probably
oh, dude, there's like
a more
so
realistic
many connections.
gig.
Like, someone's like, oh, you a fighter? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
about modeling.
Right. But yeah, overall, it seemed like a cool show. I'll definitely check it out again. It seems like they have a decent amount of guests on, because they've had Tom Duquesnoy on before, I believe. And, I mean, if they're getting guys like Luke Thomas and James Lynch, that's a good goddamn lineup. So I liked it overall. And if you guys are looking for some more Irish hosted podcasts apart from Severe MMA, I would definitely recommend that one.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. So is there any other podcasts you listened to that you thought people should check out?
Co-main event was good.
It was good. I really liked it.
They said, how do you get submitted by a Boston Crab? Fucking wrestling move.
Yep.
Well, a WWE move.
Oh, you forgot about all the hot hockey and mesh bag talk at the top of the podcast.
You need a mesh bag big enough for hot, sweaty, gross hockey gear, and I know that from experience playing hockey, and yeah. You need a duffel bag, not a mesh bag. I don't know what the fuck Chad was talking about.
Chad was just being the oldest white man of all time. Yeah. Oh my god.
They said Fabricio Verdum is an idiot who happens to be in the payroll of Kadyrov.
Yeah, that is actually our clip on our next break. Is you get to listen to Chad be like, it's weird
for people who don't know, Fabricio Verdum this week at the media scrum, he was sitting next to Tony Ferguson. Karen Bryant was sitting on the other side of the table as well as another MMA journalist. She spoke quietly to Verdum. I didn't even know she speaks Portuguese.
So
she asked him a question.
She's been working on her Portuguese and with Verdum over the years.
She asked him in Portuguese, how's the food taste? That's all she asked. But, to be fair, he did talk pretty fucking loud. Like, it was pretty loud.
And he just kept talking.
He kept talking and talking.
After Tony was like, bro, I'm literally trying to talk. Can you fucking wait?
Yeah, Tony's just like, hey, bro, can you just stop talking for a minute? I'm talking here. And he said in Spanish, when I'm talking, you need to be quiet. And then, of course...
all fucking pissy.
Then Fabricio, the homophobic switch turns on, and he just starts throwing all these gay slurs.
That's right.
And,
just starts mariconing everything.
Yeah, and ask a keyboard warrior, no, bro, it just means you're a pussy, not a fag. Like,
yeah, that excuse worked here like 5 years ago, and I get it. I get that it still works in Mexico because Mexico is pretty fucking homophobic still. But y'all need to tone it down.
How about any Catholic country is homophobic?
I mean, for sure.
Brazil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Brazil doesn't mind a gay slur here and there.
But either way, sorry, I just had to give context why Verdum is a shithead.
And he's a double shithead because, like they mentioned, he hangs out with a fucking dictator who kills gay people, literally.
And didn't that guy say he doesn't believe gay people exist? Like, he thinks it's a farce, that's why he kills them or something like that?
Well, no. He said if there are any gay people here, they can move to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, there are no gay people in Chechnya.
Except for me, secretly.
Oh, except for all of the dicks around my weird beard. My beard, I used to have a mustache, worn off by dick.
What do you think I used to wipe the cum off my? Never mind.
Jesus.
Just kidding.
He super loves dick, though. Let's be real.
Dana doesn't really have any UFC stars available anymore. Because where's Connor? Ronda, well, she's done. Sage, I don't know what he's doing.
He's losing in a couple weeks to, I forget who.
Yeah, he's fighting someone pretty tough.
He's back at 155, right?
Thank God.
Pretty sure.
Thank God.
Yeah, what was up with 170 for, like... Bad idea. Mickey Golf solved that problem real quick.
They said Rory McDonald will probably fight just about anyone. Very true.
Yeah, they talked about how he wanted to fight everyone from his weight class of 205.
In their opinion, isn't Kevin Lee versus McGregor more interesting than McGregor versus Tony? I disagree, because it'd be way more fun to watch McGregor fight Tony.
Yeah.
But I think they were just saying that because they want to see the trash talk.
Yeah, I think so. And everyone likes that take. Everyone thinks that, like, oh, well, you know.
And then they said, however, Conor versus Nate 3 probably makes the most sense. I'll just say it right now. I don't want that fight to happen, only if Conor is the champ. Only because based on merit and rankings and the already interim fucking title fights happening, Nate Diaz does not deserve a title fight. I'm just telling you right now.
Plus, I want the belt to be legit when Nate takes it off Conor.
Yeah, there you go. Have him fight a real lightweight champ. Just have him fight... This is what should happen.
God.
Tony will
WME will kill themselves.
Like, say Tony beats Kevin Lee, and then Tony beats Conor. Fuck it. Say he fights Conor, I'm not a bitch, and say Tony beats him, right? Either they're going to rematch with Conor. Say if it's an amazing fight, yeah, they'll rematch. Of course.
They'll rematch it anyway.
But other than that, have Nate fight like one more person, beat them, and
Nate's not fighting anybody except for him.
I think he's kind of, dude, he's like semi-retired, let's be real.
I mean, he doesn't... Nate does not... He's not one of these dudes who spends a shitload of money. Like, Nick spends some motherfucking money. Nate just kind of hangs out, like, bikes and shit. Nick is the one in Vegas, like, fucking almost getting hookers knocked up and shit. Shouts out to Fight Nanny on Punch Drunk Sports.
And shouts out to Vegas.
Yeah, well, and shouts out to that one Instagram thought that was like, fucking, marry Nick Diaz.
Oh, yeah, huh? That was interesting.
Yeah, and then, like, later in that same picture on the comments, she was like, well, not exactly. She's like, alright, bitch, tone down. She's crazy. If you look at her Instagram, oh, God, she's crazy.
You just have to ask, how lit are you?
Right? No, she's definitely high as shit. And somewhere she's talking about tiny houses. Fucking,
that is interesting.
She's a crazy person. But yeah, fucking anyway.
I was getting way distracted. Yeah. Co-main was solid. I also listened to the Hammer. I liked.
I'm listening to the Hammer in a bit.
They were just honest. They said they think Kevin Lee's biting off more than he can chew. They said it's way too early for a championship caliber fight for him, and he doesn't have the resume, as Ferguson was saying a couple months ago.
I mean, nobody has the resume Ferguson has. Yeah. Conor doesn't have a fucking resume.
They think Ferguson's going to knock out Lee with strikes. They think, honestly, like, we can't see any really ways Lee can actually win this fight. They said they're struggling to figure out how he can win, except for maybe somehow taking his back.
Yeah, I mean, that's how Lee kills people, is by getting the back.
He's got really 77-inch reach. He has the longest arms in that division. After him, it's
Tony by an inch.
Yeah, by an inch, yeah. So this will be interesting. They said I can't remember how they said DJ will win, except they just think he'll win. They think Verdum's striking hasn't looked too good lately. They said a couple on these fights on these cards they have zero interest in, such as Brad Tavares versus Talis Lychis, or Lighties, whatever the fuck you say his name.
That has potential to be a rough one.
Other than that, that's all I have for the Hammer. Real quick, I'll say Talk and Talker episode 9 was great.
I need to listen to more of that show.
It's always Mike and Dennis getting shit on by DC.
That's hilarious.
I can't remember where the fuck they were this time, but it's still hilarious. DC was talking mad shit on Anthony Rumble Johnson, saying, fuck that guy, he's a bitch, he's a quitter. He's like, during 214, all he was doing was talking with John Jones, basically giving advice on how to beat me. That guy is soft. I see where it's coming from. Because remember I told you when we were watching 214, this guy's a quitter? I still think Anthony Johnson's a quitter. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Dude, when he was dragged in deep waters by DC in their first fight, he literally just rolled over and let himself get choked out, and then he did it again. Like, he wasn't even gassed. That's how his coach walked away. I'd fucking walk away too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Anthony Jumble Johnson's a very skilled fighter, but you can't just be like,
and he will fucking put his hand through your face.
Fuck it. I can't stand and bang right now, so let me just get choked out. However, if he does return to heavyweight, good for him. I like his chances against some heavyweight fighters, but if he ever were to fight, I think, dude, even if he fought like Mark Hunt, I think Mark Hunt would fucking sleep him. I don't know.
Mark
It's
Hunt's
just.
Although that would be a dope-ass fight.
It'd be interesting.
God, if he head kicks Mark Hunt, what happens? Does the universe just implode? What if they just dual head kick
Mark Hunt
each
plays,
other?
oh, you got cunt?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. They're just both gas after 1 minute.
One fight
it's the worst fight ever.
One fight I wouldn't want to see just for Rumble's health would be Stipe.
Yeah, Stipe's wrestling is...
Him and his 80-inch reach.
It would be... both of those are a horrible matchup for Anthony.
Because people forget how underrated Stipe's wrestling is.
Yeah, well, and people forget how easily Anthony gets taken down by decent wrestlers. Decent wrestlers put Anthony down a lot. As long as you don't fucking...
Yeah, basically DC is just saying a 6-month retirement's too quick, blah, blah. He was talking shit, I get it. And he was talking about how he's going to be fighting Volkan probably early 2018.
Yeah.
He says the only reason why he's not fighting Gus is because Gus is hurt. That's what he said, basically.
Yeah. And that's what Ariel was saying, too. Yeah. Which, I mean, it checks out why Gus has been so quiet.
Yeah.
So... hopefully it's nothing big.
And then the only thing I have to say real quick, Heavy Hands, they were talking about odds.
Heavy Hands was good.
Yeah, Ferguson's only a minus 220 favorite when they think he should be at
way
least minus
bigger,
300. 300, I think that's about the right call. Kevin Lee is similar to Gilbert Burns. His grappling and striking. That is a good comparison.
Dude,
based on feel.
Super similar, yeah.
They think Ferguson should win by submission in the third round. Lee is not ready for this challenge. They're kind of agreeing with what the Hammer was talking about.
Yep.
They think DJ by knockout, but Bourd's going to be a problem early with his speed. They think Bourd can match DJ's speed. I agree. Most of those dudes are quick as lightning.
For sure. Don't forget the return of the flower cock puns. When they start talking about Stamen and Duquesnoy. God, every time Connor does that bit, it cracks me the fuck up. Then they talk about Dariush and Dunham too. And how they think Dunham's pace could definitely affect that fight a lot.
He can. He's scrappy, high motor.
For sure.
How about... I was only going to mention one more thing.
I was actually going to mention Heavy Hands actually did
go for it.
Patreon bonus episode for...
yeah, that's right.
Number 20, which they basically just continue talking about the fights on 216, about some of the ones they didn't cover. Also, Connor intros at first saying like, "Oh, I'm Connor Rebush and this is Pat Wyman," and then he stops himself. He's like, "This is a Patreon show, so you guys pay to listen to it. I don't know why I'm telling you who we are. It's exactly like my need to sign my full name on birthday cards." It's like that is the funniest fucking comparison.
That's
but
great.
Yeah, Connor's just an interesting dude. That dude cracks me up a lot. But yeah, like I said, they break down some more of the fights. They talk Lewis and Verdum. They also talk Will Brooks and Nick Lentz, Lando versus Green, and Morago versus Biblatov. So yeah, just if you want more Heavy Hands breaking down the rest of that card, I would definitely recommend subscribing to their Patreon, which I think is $3, and they have 20 bonus shows that they've done, including like interviews with Jimmy Rivera and some other stuff that's cool. So definitely recommend checking it out. What was the one other one you had?
It wasn't a podcast. It was Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee being interviewed side by side by Fox, Daniel Cormier and Kenny Florian. I'll give you a quote. Tony Ferguson, of course being the nerd he is, claims, "I haven't gotten out of the hyperbolic time chamber, bro. My training is going to escalate me way over you. You're way over your head." Great, of course, Dragon Ball Z reference by El Kukui.
He fucking loves Dragon Ball. You see, like half the clips of him training this Dragon Ball.
I'm surprised he doesn't have like a rash guard with like the Vegeta armor that like Roxanne Modafferi has. He probably does.
Yeah, something like that.
One quote he said was, I just said racist, but it's context. It's still not a good quote to say to a young black male. He said, "I'm going to make you verbally tap and put you in a police lock like the thug that you are." And then Lee immediately was just like this. Like he literally just facepalmed like, "Dude, did you just say that?" And DC was just like, "Okay, Kevin, what do you... what?" And he just asked, like, oh no.
That's bad. Yeah, Kevin's really good at... all the media I've seen from Kevin in this, he's like, I think he even talked about it on, I forget whose show. I think maybe it was with Brendan. He said, like, I'm not even going to deal with shit talking. You'll hear him. Brendan was like, I hope you have something planned for if you win after the fight to call some people out. He's like, trust me, Brendan, and I got some shit.
The one thing that was blown out of proportion, Tony was talking about, he accused Kevin Lee of being on steroids. Like, he just straight up said, dude, I know you're on steroids, blah, blah, blah. And, like, Lee, like, he didn't look nervous, but he, like, gulped, and people were like, dude, he's shook. He's on roids. Everyone's on roids. It's like, no, because how do you answer a fucking dumb question like that? Yeah. Someone says you're on roids, I'd just be like, okay.
Yeah, there's no good answer.
You.
It's not like like no or yes at that point, unless they say yes.
Yeah, unless they're like John bro, Jones, I beat him off of steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I beat you, I was off steroids. I was off them this time, too. Yeah.
Wait, what was that, John? Freudian slip?
Yeah. Fucking Jesus. That dude. Oh.
Just remember, I am so blessed right now in life. As he would say, whatever the fuck it was.
That motherfucker. Anyway, so some of the shows I listened to that I wanted to give a quick shout out to. Anik and Florian 125 was alright. They opened talking about the shooting in Vegas, which everyone felt the need to do. Walt the Big Ticket Harris calls in to talk about fighting Mark Godbeer. And Walt starts talking about his love of video games because John Anik did his homework. Walt Harris...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he actually asked out loud. He's like, what do I got to do to get EA to put me in EA UFC 3? And John Anik actually said, yo, if you win this fight, I'll talk to some people at EA.
Great.
Like, I can't promise anything.
How is UFC 3 going to be? Can they... Oh, wait.
I've heard good things.
Oh, no. Dude, I just remember... Someone said on Reddit that they're bringing back Pride Mode from the old Undisputed.
That would be the shit. Yeah. That's what everyone complained about from the last two. They're like, bro, Pride Mode. So that'd be awesome if they did that. He also says he wants to take on DC and Mighty Mouse in a video game tournament. He says he would fuck both of them up at NBA 2K.
You said this is Walt Harris, right?
Yeah. Fucking hilarious. He was like, yo, I want to take on DC and Mighty Mouse in a video game tournament. I'd fuck them up. I just thought it was hilarious because I didn't know any of that about Walt Harris. But that dude, if anybody needs a Twitch channel, that motherfucker needs a Twitch channel. Somebody get that dude on playing NBA 2K on Twitch on like stat like yesterday. And then Luca Fury calls in to break down some fights and make his picks for Anik to try and catch up, since Anik is like 15 picks down from Florian or something crazy. Let's see. Only other ones I listened to, MMA Heat was kind of interesting. MMA Heat 132. Because Karen Bryant and what's his face?
Joban.
Yep, Alan Joban talk about the media lunch. Because this was recorded right afterwards. So Karen talks about how she accidentally instigated the fucking Tony Fabricio altercation.
She probably didn't feel too bad, right?
But she did feel bad. And she broke down like what happened. They also posted...
I guess I kind of would feel a little bit bad, though. I mean, it wouldn't be... it's not your fault, more or less it's more Fabricio's fault, obviously. But I would still feel a little bit like, oh, fuck, if I just would have not asked him anything.
For sure. Well, what's funny, though, is they posted a 360-degree video of it.
I saw that.
Which you could actually spin around and see Karen Bryant looking very uncomfortable.
Yeah, she's like eating food too, and she's like, "How's the food?" The whole time she's just like, "Oh no."
And the only other thing that I think it was, so Alan mentioned that he's training with somebody, and I think it was Anderson Silva.
I know he's training with Tony Ferguson in his camp because they both train at Eddie Bravo at 10th Planet.
Yeah, and I think
I saw that on the embedded. It was pretty sick. They were both wrestling against each other.
That's tight. Yeah, and I think he said he was working with Anderson Silva also in the lead up to the Gastelum fight, but I might have misheard that. I know it was either Anderson or God, it was another LA based dude. Might have been Bisbing. One of those dudes. I forget who, though. And the only other one I wanted to shout out was Jordan Breen show, the 125-pound nightmare episode, where he talked a lot about 216 and some of the matchups, more phone issues as always, because fucking the goddamn Sherdog Studio Network phone lines are so fucked right now.
What's new?
Zombie Paul does call in and make some awesome fucking jokes and references, though, like always. And then it turned really weird where Jordan Breen started talking about James Thompson, because James Thompson technically is one of the most viewed MMA fighters of all time. If you, like, between his Kimbo fight and, like, a couple other fights that were, like, crazy high-level TV, like, they had the highest rated TV numbers of all time, and he's been in like 3 of them. So yeah, actually they've talked about him being one of the most viewed dudes, and then that led to talking about the life and death of Elite XC, and just how fucking insane that promotion was, which of course was killed by Kimbo and Seth Petrozelli when Seth Petrozelli came on to the fight late notice after Ken Shamrock bladed in the back and tried to get more money.
Petrozelli wasn't that the Titan fight or not? Or Elite FC?
Elite XC, yeah. That was the fight that killed that promotion.
He TKO'd Kimbo.
Yep.
Because they're all just holding on to that. Hey, Kimbo's gonna make us relevant.
Well, to be fair, if he would have fought Ken Shamrock like he was supposed to, he would have fucking blown the fuck up. So he would have killed Ken Shamrock. But nope, Ken Shamrock blades in the back trying to get more money, and I don't know if that's actually true. I do talk about that though. And then Elite XC dies along with Seth Petrozelli's pink hair. The only other things I wanted some news that happened. Frankie Edgar versus Max Holloway got announced, which is tight.
Fuck yeah, headlining 218.
Yep, Zabit just got announced for another fight.
It's a beast.
Yep, I forget who he's fighting. Some random dude for that dude's first fight. So R.I.P. that guy. The Sherdog Roundtable should drop Thursday or Friday, and then Jordan Breen and TJ DeSantis are going to do a beatdown after the bell for 216. And Laura Senko and Megan Anderson's new breakdown show.
I saw that.
Just debuted their first step. So yeah, they did their intro talking about what it was, and they just debuted their first ep for UFC 216, where they break down the entire card. So that's pretty tight. Other than that, the only other thing I want to talk about is I have been having the weirdest fucking dreams since I stopped drinking. So far in the last week, I have had dreams where me and Nick Diaz are hanging out in a hotel room. He beats up a tranny, or he fights a tranny. Don't worry, it was a dude turned girl. And then, but it was like a sanctioned MMA fight inside the hotel room we were in. And then he brings me to his burrito shop that he opened in LA. It's really fucking, it was in Stockton. It was really weird.
Huh.
I then also in that later that night had a dream about Eddie Bravo opening a bar called the Monkey Bar. Don't know where any of that came from. And then
tweet that to him.
Yeah, right. And then last night I had a dream where me and a bunch of my high school friends, I don't know why, but one of them was Ronda Rousey. She was my high school friend in the dream. That is
actually a nightmare then.
Yeah, we were all hanging out at the... Well, actually, yeah, kind of, because we were all hanging out at the Del Mar Fair, and we couldn't figure out how to get out. Oh, no, we couldn't figure out how to get out, and we snuck in, so we couldn't go out the regular way.
Oh, great.
It was the stupidest... I have no idea
that's a nightmare.
I've been listening to too many MMA podcasts, and not drinking is affecting my sleep, evidently. But yeah, really fucking weird dreams. So if you guys ever stop drinking, look forward to weird dreams about fucking Nick Diaz and Ronda Rousey, evidently. I don't know what's happening. You guys, I'm losing my mind now that I'm sober. It's real weird. But we will go ahead and wrap that segment on that awkward-ass note. But coming up next, you guys will get to listen to Chad Dundas's hilarious take on Kadyrov and Fabricio. And then we will be back with our breakdown of UFC 216, Chiesa. Nope. Not Chiesa.
Way off. Ferguson and Lee.
Ferguson versus Lee.
Not Robert Lee.
No.
I'm kidding.
Not Robert Lee. Not Jet Li either.
Robert E. Lee, the Confederate hero.
Definitely not that one.
But then these slurs, and I was talking to Fernanda Prates, a MMA junkie, our colleague there in Brazil, and she was saying, I think there is a cultural difference in how that stuff is viewed and used between Brazil and America, that it's thrown around a lot more frequently and with less thought in Brazil. Not saying that she wasn't saying that it should be, but that it is, and so that maybe there is a cultural difference there. And so it's like, okay, maybe if you wanted to give him a pass, you almost could, except that he's also on the payroll of the violently anti-gay Chechen dictator who is, from all accounts, in the middle of a murderous purge of gay men in Chechnya. And so those things all kind of come together here in a really terrible way for Fabricio Werdum.
are back for our UFC 216 breakdown. Like we said, that was Chad Dundas pointing out a fucking very relevant fact that probably shouldn't talk bad about gay or use gay slurs when you're friends with the dude who kills gay people. Bad luck.
Yeah.
So now that we are past that, we'll get to a card with 5 fighters of a manager who is friends with a guy who kills gay people. So we'll go ahead and start this off at the bottom, like we always do about this time.
2 unranked flyweights.
That's right.
Let's call them contenders because it's a flyweight division.
Sure. Yeah, everyone's a contender at flyweight. Although I'm not sure how much longer Marco Beltran can stay at flyweight. He looked like shit in his last fight. From what I remember, I just remember him gassing like immediately and looking exhausted. Like,
I remember I saw him at Lance when I was there because he trains with Mustachio and Quinones, who's also there.
Yep. Yeah, he was on the tough season, right?
Yeah, that's why all those guys are friends. They probably just were like, hey, let's all train together after tough Brazil won.
Yeah,
no, tough Latin America won.
Latin America, yeah. Let's see. So, of course, Beltran's coming off the loss to Joe Soto at 135, and then after dropping to 125, the loss to Figueiredo. Matt Danger Schnell is coming off of the loss to Hector Sandoval and the loss to Rob Font.
That was a bantamweight bout. That's right.
Yeah, Matt Schnell, if you guys don't remember, Hector Sandoval fucking ground and pounded him with hammer fist.
Oh, I forgot this dude's tall as shit for flyweight, but he's just skinny.
Yeah. This is a weird matchup. I kind of don't know which way to lean in this one.
I'm just saying right now, I'm going Matt Schnell.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to go Matt Schnell, too. Only basically because he's out of American Top Team and because I think Marco Beltran shouldn't be at 125.
Yeah,
no. If Beltran if he's gotten better at making that weight, I think he probably wins this fight because Matt Schnell gets wobbled a lot in fights from what I've seen. And he's gotten stopped twice in his last 2 fights by KO and then a knee and punches. So I'm going to lean... Actually, I'm changing it. I'm going to go Beltran.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know why. This could easily go either way. I think Matt Schnell should win this fight. But if Beltran comes in looking healthy at 125, I think it's possible that he ends up taking that.
Yeah, right.
But this is a toss-up, essentially. There's a lot of weird variables in it, from what I can tell. Let's see.
Next, but the most least interesting fight on the card.
I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely going to be...
Fun. Oh, yeah. Well...
It's going to be... It's not a fun matchup.
Yeah. You got Brad Tavares versus Talis. Never know how to say his name. I'll just call him Litis. I don't fucking know.
Talis Lettuce.
Lettuce?
I'm pretty sure.
Lettuce? I'm going to call him Lettuce. Fuck it.
Talis Lettuce.
He's Lettuce. Yep.
Talis Lettuce is actually pretty good. Let's go with that.
Yeah, no.
So Talis Lettuce is taking on Brad Tavares. Talis Lettuce is... Man, that's gonna evolve into something weird. I'm feeling.
Talis Lettuce.
So Tasha Lash is taking on... Tasha Lash just
coming off a win over Sam Alvey.
Yep, and then that loss to Krzysztof Jotko by decision.
Or Yatko, whatever the fuck they call him.
I think it's one of those. And then is taking on Brad Tavares.
Tavares.
Yep, who's coming off that real boring win over Elias Theodoro.
And let's be real, Elias Theodoro has like one significant strike per every 10 minutes.
Oh god, that dude's... Whatever you want to call
he likes to play Dance Dance Revolution.
Well, and whatever you want to call his left hand, because it's definitely not a jab he does. It's like one of those fucking Aikido back fists.
No, it's like this. He goes like this, hands down, and he just goes like this.
Yeah, this really works great on an audio podcast. All you can hear is Chris shuffling around.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. He kind of like does like one of these every time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Tries to back fist you with a whipping motion every time he comes in with a right hand.
He's backhanding a tennis racket.
Yeah, except not even like just with his from his elbow
wrist.
down. Yeah, it's it bothers me.
So Brad Tavares versus Talis Leidish.
Yeah, and Brad Tavares also has that win over Cal Magoyesh as well. Who are you leaning in this one?
Probably this guy, Lettuce.
You like lettuce?
I think he has like knockout power. I think.
I think he's got some.
I actually
subs.
don't even remember.
He's got some early finishes. He finished Frankie Cars.
Oh, I'm probably thinking of Thiago
And Trevor Hot Sauce Smith. You're thinking Thiago Alves, I think.
I don't know.
But I mean, this dude does have some big wins. Chris Camozzi, Sam Alvey, Tim Boach, Frankie Cars.
Went to a decision against Gegard.
Dude, only 3 losses are Michael Bisping, Musashi, and Yako. That's pretty fucking
I'm going to go with
legit.
Lettuce
Or
guy.
only 3 recent losses,
I'm going to go with Lettuce guy. Lettuce.
I'm definitely going Tavares. I think this is going to be a real slow fight. I liked how Vivisection broke this one down. I totally agree with them. I think it's going to be a lot of both of them trying to back each other against the fence, but not a lot of actual strikes being thrown. And I think Tavares is good enough in the clinch to kind of make this interesting. But, man, it's going to be a lot of two dudes looking at each other. It's probably going to look a lot like the latest Sam Alvey fight, but just with less backpedaling from Tavares. But I do like Tavares. I think it's probably going to decision. But I think if anybody stops anybody, it's probably going to be Tavares landing something big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, this is a fight that could pretty much go either way, as far as I can tell.
Then we have Magomed
Bibulatov,
that's
or
right.
Bibulatov is a fucking.
Oh yeah,
Zane Simon likes to say.
Bibulatov.
Also fighting out of giant piece of shit dictator Akhmat fight team.
Chechnya.
Yeah, fucking goddamn Kadyrov. He's literally one of Kadyrov's dudes.
Oh, that's right. Well, then in that case, I'm picking John Moraga because I cannot support Kadyrov's soldiers.
I'm totally on board with you, except for the part where you pick John Moraga.
Magomed is going to definitely whoop his ass.
This fight I think is going to be closer than people expect, just because Magomed Bibulatov, he has that one of those weird ACB style games.
Of course he's undefeated.
You're right. Well, to be fair, he has one of those weird ACB style games where like it's really kick heavy and with like random fucking takedowns thrown in, and like it's sambo as fuck is basically what it is.
I just hope there's an openly gay fighter at flyweight that could whoop this guy's ass.
That would be fantastic.
That'd be the best thing that could happen to this guy's career.
It'd be great.
Because then he'd probably like, well, I lost 2 gay guys, so now I have to leave Kadyrov.
Unfortunately, I don't think Leslie Smith can fuck him up, but... Wait, Leslie Smith isn't gay, is she?
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, I don't think Tanya Evinger can fuck him up. See how I changed it? That's much better. I don't think she can make 125. I can't think of a gay 125er, and the female roster
Rocky
gets way
Pennington
easier.
Make 125?
No, Rocky's closer to making 145 than 25.
It's fucked. I'm almost thinking like all the gay female fighters.
Well, I mean, it's way easier to think of gay female fighters than male fighters. I'm
actually, wait.
Dakota Cochran definitely isn't making 125. So.
No, are there? I forgot. I mean, at least not openly gay, but there's probably some. There has to be some gay fighters in the roster. It has to be 100%.
I mean, Dakota Cochran. I'm
saying not openly gay right now. But there is definitely some gay fighters in the roster. Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You're never gonna know though.
Yeah. No.
Shouts out to season 3 of Kingdom. Go watch that show, because there's a fucking pretty boy that gets real gay in that. Anyway, he might have brothers as well. Did you see what I did there? His name
and
might
he gets jumped by Mickey Mouse in South Park.
His name may or may not be the title of a Weezer song. His name is. Yeah, there we go. The Green Album. Go ahead and have some fun. I think it's Green Album, right? Or is it Blue?
There's too many colors.
I think it's Blue Album.
There's too many colors.
I think it's Blue Album. I might be getting that wrong. It's Blue Album. Anyway, way off topic. This is not Bibulatov talk. I got Bibulatov, but I could see it going either way. I like Bibulatov if he can get the takedowns and if he can not get caught in a guillotine. Because Moraga's real good at catching a guillotine off of a sloppy takedown. He almost finished what's-his-face with it. Mokhtarian. It was real close. Like, Mokhtarian was, like, losing his shit with an arm-in guillotine and barely got out of it. So, I'm going to lean Magomed, but I could see it going either way. Like a lot of this card. This is a really well-matched card, except for this next fight, which is a goddamn one-sided beating that's about to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, isn't this guy the big ticket, right?
Yeah, this is the big ticket.
Yeah.
NBA 2K star. Walt Harris. He is taking on Mark Godbeer.
So, do you want my input on this?
Absolutely.
Walt Harris by murder.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree. That's basically, yeah. Of course,
I see TKO. He'll probably rock him. He'll fall, and then he'll just fuck him against the fence.
Yeah, I agree.
With his fists, for context.
Yeah, thank you. That definitely needs
context. To his face, further context.
Yeah, I guess that needed further context.
Well, fuck him with his fist can mean a lot of things.
Well, yeah, especially in your world, Chris.
Yep.
Sing!
Alright!
Oh, man. Don't get us don't make us have to do community service like a certain go horse.
Oh, no.
Let's see. So, yeah, the problem is like Mark Godbeer has
a great last name.
He will come in and he will throw bombs. He will not land any bombs, and he will get pieced the fuck up. Is the problem?
Yeah,
it's totally. This is heavyweight,
which epitomizes heavyweight.
Yeah, it's again, like I said, it's heavyweight, so it could be anyone's fight, really. But Walt Harris has been looking good lately. Especially, I mean, he had that win over Chase Sherman, which is pretty big considering how good Chase Sherman has been looking. And then the win over Cyril Asker. Split decision against Shamil Abdurrahimov. Wins over Cody East. Thank you for punching that piece of shit. I just don't. It's hard for me to see a way that Godbeer wins this outside of a crazy overhand that happens to land. Yeah, I like Walt Harris big in this. He's the big ticket for a reason. So we will go ahead and continue on. Pro Gonzalez taking on Poliano Botelho. Do you know anything about Poliano?
Where is she? Is this her UFC debut? Yes, it is.
Yep. She has some fights against Viviane Pereira.
Janice Cousin, that's right. Yep. I remember her, yeah.
Karina Rodriguez. Some decent fights. No one really outside of Viviane that anyone would know. Viviane fight, to be fair, scrappy as shit. This girl, she's out of Nova União and she fights like it.
Is this a flyweight belt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the first ones.
Oh, yeah, because remember when Pro Gonzalez fought Calvillo, I was like, how the fuck did this chick make 115? That's insane.
Yeah. I don't even... Did she make weight for that?
Oh, no, she blew weight.
I thought she did, right?
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but I think she blew weight.
I think she blew weight.
Yeah, so Pro Gonzalez, of course, yeah, like you said, coming off that win over, or that loss to Calvillo.
Her picture looks nothing like her, unless that was like years ago.
Yeah, that's an old picture.
Yeah.
And she has a bunch of wins over people that you would probably not know the name of.
I know Courtney Casey, right? Or is that a different Courtney Casey?
I think that's a different Courtney Casey.
Wait, click on it.
I'm pretty sure, because Courtney Casey doesn't have the last name Sanchez.
Unless she was married at that time.
I don't think so.
It is her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep, that's Courtney Casey.
I guess it is. Oh, yeah. Upcoming fight, Felice Herrig.
Oh, maybe she just got married and they changed it on. Sure.
Oh,
that's probably what it is, dude. Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, win over Courtney Casey's big. Courtney Casey's looking good.
She's legit, yeah.
And then the loss to Cynthia Calvillo.
And Pro Gonzalez is in that fight.
Yeah, it was scrappy as shit. Yeah. 10th Planet San Diego also. I don't know
her
if you
transitions were solid.
Yeah, 10th Planet San Diego. Hard not to root for that. I wonder if she's out of the Freak Show. That'd be cool. Because I think there's Oceanside, and I think there's another 10th Planet down here, like down south.
I think there's one like
Chula Vista or something.
Yeah, or National City, probably.
Something like that. So which way you leaning in this?
I like Pro Gonzalez in this.
Do you?
Only because it's the other chick's UFC debut.
I am going to go with...
She's probably the bigger fighter. Actually, no, this chick's 5'8". She's pretty tall.
Yeah, although Pro's not small either. Oh, she's 5'4".
Oh, she's tiny.
Yeah, but like that height difference. Yeah. I don't know how big a difference the height difference will make. However, from the little bit of tape I've seen, Poliana has some nasty leg kicks also coming out of Nova União. And she throws bombs. This girl just comes forward all tense and just throws fucking bombs.
Oh, shit. So like an Andrade?
Kind of, but like way less measured and not nearly as good at takedowns.
Fuck, should I change my pick then? Because this sounds kind of enticing.
No, because the thing is I think Pro Gonzalez probably has the way better ground game. And this girl coming in on her debut, no one really knows what she's going to look like against decent level competition. And Pearl proved against Cynthia Calvillo that, like, she hung in there for a while.
Yeah.
She was doing all right on the feet. Like, she was still getting hit a bit, but she wasn't, like, getting fucked up on the feet.
Yeah.
And it was the takedowns that really lost Pearl that fight. And you're not going to see a lot of takedowns out of Botelho, I don't think. I think she's mostly going to come forward, throw hands. So I think this will be a fun fight, but these are also two chicks who they come forward, but they come forward and they'll, like, sit there and wait and just fucking throw something huge. Or Pearl will sit there and wait and then, like, kind of feint a lot and then eventually end up, like, throwing weird, awkward combos. So I think a lot of this fight comes down to who ends up going for takedowns and how that works out for them. So you said you're leaning Pearl on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Pollyanna, but, man, I think it's going to be a really fun fight either way, though. And well, I should say it could be a fun fight. It could be a fucking fight where they stare at each other, too. But it's an interesting style matchup, and I think it's going to tell a lot about where these two belong in that division. So now we get started getting to some of these fights that I'm actually pretty fucking hyped for.
This next one looks like a banger.
Yeah, Bobby Green versus Lando Venata should be a lot of fun. Bobby Green is, of course, coming off 3 losses to a bunch of big names. Rashid Magomedov, Dustin Poirier, and Edson Barboza. Fucking Jesus. And his last win was over Josh Thompson and Pat Healy before
3
that.
years ago, wow.
Yeah, well, he's had injury problems for a bit. But you gotta realize, like, Bobby Green's fucking fought a ton. Dude's had, like, fucking 30 fights in, like, 7 years or some insane amount.
Fuck, I'd retire next year, man.
I mean, maybe. Not if he goes on a run.
Unless he's not well off.
Yeah, and he's taking on groovy Lando Venata, coming off of the loss to David Taymor.
That was a great fight, but I like Lando Venata's striking. He has great striking out of Jackson Wink. I still don't like his guard or his defense when standing on the feet. He likes to keep his hands down too much.
Yeah. And he likes to fucking throw shit and then stare at him.
Dude, I almost kind of want to call Bobby Green upset.
You think so? I mean, dude, this is one of those fights that it kind of depends on what version of both dudes shows up.
I don't know how Green's chin is, though. It's been so long. I think the last fight I saw was when he got knocked out by Poirier, and Poirier hits hard as well.
Yeah, but he got through a full fight with Edson Barboza and with Rashid Magomedov, and, like, going 3 rounds with both those dudes is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
and it's been fighting guys like Josh Thompson.
I don't know. Let me see Venata's...
So Venata had the loss to Tony Ferguson.
Well, he almost beat Tony Ferguson, kind of,
True.
for a second. Yeah.
Then he wheel-kicked the shit out of John McDessie and broke his whole shit.
Yeah.
And then the David Taymor fight was a decision where they both pieced each other up, but David Taymor was able to land a little bit more and push the clinch a little bit.
Yeah, he's able to take advantage of his
Which is interesting, because Bobby Green does push the clinch pretty well. Like, that's how Bobby Green almost won that Rashid fight. But eventually... like, Bobby slowed down a little bit, if I remember right.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a split.
I think I'm going to go with
Rashid.
Lando, only because he hasn't been finished. And I like him being as a pressure fighter, being able to kind of just dictate that. And I think he might clip Bobby. I don't know Bobby's chin. I think Lando can finish him with a kick, just the way he finished McDessie, because clearly he has great distance judgment.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the cleanest fucking kicks I've ever seen.
Yeah,
as
the
far as
dude's
connecting
crazy.
someone's fucking chin. What's the height discrepancy? Like, what, an inch?
5'10", and Lando's like
5'9".
5'9". Yeah, that's not much. Yeah, I'm gonna go Lando as well. Mostly because he's out of Jackson Wink, and you gotta imagine after that Taymor fight, they worked a lot with him on.
Well, they probably grilled him hard just in the clinch too.
Well, that and I feel like they're gonna.
But it didn't help. Taymor was a Muay Thai champ.
Yeah,
I think it was.
That's true. Well, but I think that a lot of it may come down to whether or not they can kind of tame a little bit of Lando's fucking chaos and get him to, like, slow down and pick his shots a little bit more rather than just constantly spamming crazy shit. But I don't know. I could see Bobby Green making this really ugly, putting him against the cage, and just forcing it into an ugly fucking fight that is going to be rough to watch. I think that's a tough fucking route for Bobby Green, though. I think that's probably his best route to win this fight, apart from just catching Lando with something crazy, because Lando's getting too flashy. So yeah, I'm gonna lean Lando on that as well. But man, it should be fun while it lasts. If it goes the way we're thinking it will. Because I think if Lando wins this, it's probably going to be in the first 2 rounds by finish.
Yeah, I can see that happening too.
Bobby Green is tough as shit, though,
He
so
is.
you never know. But I think it should be fun. Speaking of fun fights, this one I like a lot, but it's because I really like Will Brooks and I really don't like Nick Lentz.
And Will Brooks is way better than he's showed so far in his UFC.
Theoretically, I mean, he's gotten whooped on in his last 2 fights.
Michael Chandler, though? Like, goddamn.
Yeah, he definitely did,
That's
but
what I
he
mean.
also got killed by Alex Oliveira and Charles
he should
Oliveira.
just stop fighting people named Oliveira.
That's a decent point.
Yeah.
He did get that win over Ross Pearson.
To be fair, though, the Cowboy Oliveira, he was already hurt. He was already hurt going into that fight. And Oliveira blew weight by 8 pounds.
Yep.
Like something ridiculous.
And then immediately moved up to 170.
And then just soccer kicked the fuck out of his already basically broken rib.
Yep. That was just a rough fucking out for Ilwell. And I like Ilwell a lot. His Twitter game has always cracked me up. He's out of ATT, which I always like ATT guys. Nick Lentz, of course, out of ATT, but like the other ATT.
Minnesota.
Yep. Coming off the loss to Islam Makhachev via decision, and then the wins over Michael McBride and Danny Castillo.
Thank God.
Which really, I wish he had wins over Michael Castillo and Danny McBride, but, you take him where you can get him. He also has a loss to Charles Oliveira via guillotine.
I don't know if Danny McBride could put up a fight unless it was from the foot fist way.
Nick Lentz weighs like 145, right?
If you went Kenny Powers on him, he'd have a good shot. Right?
I would watch that fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Kenny fucking Powers.
Yeah, Kenny Powers. Woo! Kenny Powers in my goddamn fucking showroom. Woo! Woo!
Fucking Jesus, that show. Anyway, which way are you leaning in this? Because it's going to be a scrambly wrestle.
I like Will Brooks because I think I remember Nick Lentz was originally fighting at featherweight. He's probably going to be a little bit undersized.
I could see that.
I think Brooks can utilize his wrestling.
So I think that's kind of how this is going to go. The thing that makes me nervous is Nick Lentz is good at winning weird scrambles, and there's going to be a lot of weird scrambles in this fight. There are 2 wrestlers. I feel like Will Brooks definitely has the better hands of the 2, but Will Brooks does not use his hands a ton. I mean, he does, but he mostly uses it to set up his wrestling against the cage. So, this should be an interesting fight. I'm going to lean Will Brooks, mostly because I like Will Brooks a lot, and I'm not a big Nick Lentz fan. Anyone who's friends with fucking goddamn Crosby can jump off a fucking bridge. Yeah. Fucking Doug Crosby, Jesus goddamn Christ. Doug Crosby is the one writing all the shitty poems for him, if you don't know.
Oh, well, that sounds like a terrible fucking hobby, if you want to call it a hobby.
Well, right, yeah. All those terrible poems that Nick Lentz read on the MMA Hour, I believe were all written by Doug Crosby, which is fucking brutal, but yeah, I'm going ill will, but I think it should be, if you like scrambly grappling exchanges, I think this fight's going to have a lot of them. I think it should be pretty interesting. All right, so now we got let's see, we got Cody Daffodick versus Tom Duquesnoy.
Yeah,
that was my sweet
Cody Flowercock.
Yeah,
Tom Duquesnoy.
Get it? It's like a daffodil, but with cocks.
I got it.
Daffodick. I've been working on that one all day, y'all. I didn't. I worked on that for about 3 minutes.
So, Tom Duquesnoy, or some podcasts used to call him Tom Duquesnoy.
Or Duquesnoy.
Duquesne or some shit.
Yeah, that sounds like some shit that Hammer MMA would say.
Actually,
they wouldn't, because they all speak Canadian. They all speak Canadian. They all speak French.
No, you're
Canadian.
right. Though French Canadian's way different.
Kind of, but they won't fuck up Duquesnoy.
Well, the French don't like French Canadians. That's how that works.
Right, but the French Canadians don't mind the French.
Yeah, because Canadians are nice.
That's true. Who do Canadians really mind?
Unless you're Jim Leahy, or unless you're Sam the Caveman.
That's right.
Trailer Park Boys, or Cyrus. No one likes Cyrus.
Shouts out to deep Trailer Park Boys references. So Duquesnoy is coming off the win over Patrick Williams, in which he fucked him up with elbows twice. At the end of the first round, he fucking annihilated his whole shit with elbows right at the bell. He like fucking folded him right at the bell, and then came back later and smashed him again with elbows against cage, put him out. Nasty fucking performance. He's taking on Cody Stamann, who's out of ATT, coming off the win over Terrion Ware, which was a hard-fought unanimous decision in which he got pieced up a bit. Which way are you leaning in this one?
I like Duquesnoy, but that's only because, honestly, I haven't seen too much of Cody Stamann.
So, I am definitely leaning Duquesnoy as well. Heavy Hands pointed out, or not Heavy Hands, Vivisection with Conor Rebush and Zane Simon. They pointed out that Cody likes to, as a defense, a lot of times you see him kind of just shell up and back up against the cage, which is a fucking horrible plan against Tom Duquesnoy, where he almost killed a man with elbows against the cage in the last fight. So I think that's going to play a huge fucking factor in this one. I do see a way in which if Cody can constantly get takedowns, which he did get a decent amount of against Ware, and that's why he won that fight, if he can get the takedowns against Duquesnoy, I think he'll probably take this fight. The problem is I just don't see him getting the takedowns, because Duquesnoy is pretty good counter wrestling, and he throws enough volume that I think he's going to back up Cody and probably piece him up against Cage. But, like I said, if Cody gets takedowns, I could definitely see it going that way. I think it'll be a fun fucking fight, though. Both these dudes kind of have a tendency to throw some heat and get into wild exchanges, so I think it will be fun while it lasts. But I definitely like the Fire Kid in it. The Fire Kid? Is that what they call him?
Oh, Stamann? Yeah.
No, Duquesnoy.
Oh, no, wait.
It's the Fire Kid, right? Yeah, Fire Kid. I always fuck it up because
yeah.
the Fireball Kid talking to Rigomi.
That's right.
Up next, we got a fight where we are ultra biased because both of us have one of these guys in our fantasy league. So I actually have
Wait,
it.
do you have him in ours?
No, I have him in the other one because you have him in ours.
Yeah. So you already know I'm picking Beneil Dariush.
That's right. We should mention Beneil Dariush taking on Evan Dunham. And I also have Beneil Dariush in my other fantasy league, the one you're not in. So I think that fucking this matchup, I could see ways in which Evan Dunham wins for sure.
I can see ways too. He's scrappy as shit.
I mean, again, if he gets the takedowns, that could be a huge fucking factor in this fight. I just don't see him getting the takedowns is the problem. And the pace that Dariush sets forward is a hard one to keep up with, especially for a dude like Evan Dunham, who kind of just likes to drag dudes into like a slow but consistent kind of grind. He has that win over Rick Glenn, which he's coming off of. And Rick Glenn, he won that fight by basically getting the takedowns and punching him in the face a lot, which we found out in Rick Glenn's last fight you can super do to get to Rick Glenn. Because Rick Glenn almost died in his last fight because of a similar thing. I don't know if you remember the fucking beating he took in Edmonton.
Wait, Rick Glenn? No, Rick Glenn's the guy who fucking destroyed Gavin Hunter. He's the one who...
Gavin Tucker? Did I get that backwards? You're right. I did get that backwards.
Hunter or Tucker, one of those guys, yeah.
Oh, that's right. He's that alpha male. I always fucking confuse those dudes.
He's just now been alpha male.
The Gavin Tucker and Rick Glenn always remind me of each other. That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, because he was a scrappy veteran that whooped the new guy's ass.
That's interesting. Well, dude, that just even more so says how fucking solid Evan Dunham's grappling and wrestling is. But I don't think he's going to get enough of the takedowns. One thing that is interesting to note is Beneil Dariush isn't going to since Evan Dunham's a southpaw also, he's not going to have the open body for the body kick, which is like the fucking Rafael Cordero go-to. Is that
like
body
Dariush,
kick against
bread and butter
against the Orthodox guys.
We were watching the Barboza fight. He's landing that a little bit.
Yeah, he just kept banging him with it. And he does. I mean, all those guys do. Fabricio loves it. All those guys. RDA. Even though RDA is not with him anymore, but all those guys love that body kick against Orthodox fighters.
Calvin's there too, or at least in the embedded.
Yep. So should be pretty. I think this fight will be fun. I do like Dariush though, just by pace and by volume mostly. But I could easily see a way in which Evan Dunham does well in that fight.
Then we got Fabricio Kudirov versus Derek Blackbeast Lewis.
Yep. So we got Go Horse taking on the Black Beast. Oh boy. So of course we should mention Fabricio coming off the loss to Alistair, win over Travis Brown, and the loss to Stipe. And then the Black Beast coming off that loss to Mark Hunt, the win over Travis Brown, and the win over Shamil Abdurakhimov. Which way are you leaning in this one?
I think I'm going to go with Fabricio. He's a better striker on the feet. Hasn't shown it lately, but I think when it comes to it, he's going to find an opening and just basically take Lewis to the ground and make him clueless. I love Derek Lewis, and the only way he wins this fight is if he clips Fabricio when he's like shooting.
Yep.
Like with an uppercut.
Yeah, or just super early in the fight.
Some weird in a clinch.
Or like
I feel like he does some decent
sprints at him like he does sometimes.
Other than that, dude, it's all Fabricio. It's Fabricio's fight to lose, really. Based on what we saw Mark Hunt do to Derek.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially since Derek Lewis showed he's pretty susceptible to body shots. And Fabricio's known for crazy body shots at the knees and like we talked about, the left kick. I'm going to go Derek Lewis, though, because I fucking love Derek Lewis. He cracks me the fuck up.
Don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy picking Fabricio Kadyrov.
I get you. I'm not picking out of any logical sense or anything other than Derek Lewis hits hard and I like him more. So I'm going to go with Lewis. Also, Lewis tweeted out a hilarious thing today about him at the Performance Institute. You see that?
No.
He tweeted out
doing cardio stuff.
He tweeted out, "This is the best gym I've ever been at, but I'm fat, so what does my opinion matter?" Something along those lines. It was real good. It's very Derek Lewis-esque. Oh, we were watching the countdown where Derek Lewis was talking about like, do we have to go get sushi? I was thinking about I'll just get a chicken sandwich at McDonald's and I won't eat the bread.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you can't do that. I got leftovers, I could eat that. I'm like, no, bro. Fucking Derek Lewis is the best. He's also talking about McRibs and his love of them this week, right. I heard. He's a goddamn wild man. But I'm going Derek Lewis because he's saving people in Houston while Fabricio is calling people faggots in Mexican.
You mean in Spanish, for sure.
Do they say maricon in Spain?
Well, okay, when I say Spanish, there's different dialects over, but yeah.
But that's why I went with Mexican.
But you're right, yeah. Technically, you're very right.
I mean, technically, I'm very wrong. But
you're right and wrong.
But yeah.
Just like in Colombian, they go marica. See, so, same context.
There you go.
They're all dicks.
Exactly. Oh shit, actually we forgot to talk about a fight that's on this card because it's not on the fucking Sherdog page for some reason.
Huh? Oh, Mara Romero Baratala.
Yeah, Barella taking on Kalindra Faria. I don't know much about these chicks other than Kalindra Faria's fucking... Here, let me pull up Kalindra Faria's Sherdog page because it's goddamn ridiculous who she's fought. Here's a list of names who she's fought. Let me know if you recognize any of them. Claudia Gadelia, Karina Dom, Jennifer Maya, Vanessa Porto, Karina Dom again, Jessica Aguilar, Karina Kovalkovich, and Karina Dom again. Holy shit, that's a goddamn resume. Now, to be fair, she has lost to most of the big names on that list. However, those are some big fucking names to be in there against.
Yeah. That's impressive.
And she is taking on a chick who I have never heard of and who I've seen like 2 seconds of tape on.
We have previewed a fight of hers before.
Who?
The Mara Romero.
Really?
Bora something.
Have we really? Mara Romero.
Borella, yeah, dude, we've seen this chick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she fought in Invicta 24
She's
against
Italian,
Miliana
yeah.
Dudieva.
Hey, Forza Italia.
Yeah, because she fought against Miliana Dudieva. I forgot all about that.
I think I chose her based on the fact she's Italian.
Hey, well, guess what? Good pick. Because that worked out.
You know, I'll just pick her again.
You gonna go again? Hey, dude, it worked last time.
I'm gonna lose.
No, you might not.
Maybe not. Yeah, she did win that fight, though. I think she whooped the girl's ass.
Yeah, and I don't remember her fighting on that card at all.
I gotta support all the fellow Italian fighters. Michael Chiesa, tap next time. Who else was it? Who's Martin
Sakara?
Martin Vittori. Remember, he's a pretty good kickboxer.
There you go.
Yeah, he beat like some legit grapplers. Yeah, there's a couple Italian motherfuckers out there.
Yep.
So, you know.
There you go.
Let's go. Eddie Alvarez. No, he's Puerto Rican and Irish. He's not Italian at all. I'm thinking of Matt Serra.
Yeah, Matt Serra is
Chris Weidman, probably.
Italian American, but Italian as
you know what I mean.
Fucking meatball Matt Serra.
Yeah. Ray Longo, you fuck.
Ray Longo, exactly. All right, so up next, we previewed this before. Actually, no, wait, we did. Did we preview it?
No. Wait. No, because it was announced before we recorded.
I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
Remember
it was
when we
announced,
started?
right
Like,
as we
bad
started.
news, guys. Oh yeah, it's already got tweeted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's right, because the name of our episode was Nunes versus Shevchenko. That's right. Wait, I think we found out like 3/4 of the way into the episode.
No, dude. It was like the first like 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, anyway, once again, Demetrius Johnson is taking on Ray Borg. Fingers crossed he makes weight tomorrow. We don't know yet. So, hopefully he makes weight and doesn't die in the process. Yeah, this fight, I mean, while Ray Borg is super scrappy and, like, is there to fucking bring it to DJ, I think DJ just runs through him. I don't think it's going to be as short as the Cejudo fight, though.
Yeah. This thing, I'm definitely picking Demetrius Johnson. Ray Borg just turned 24.
Yeah.
Very talented for a
Super
24-year-old fighter. All I can say is he's a championship-level fighter for years to come. He's going to always be contending for that belt, I think, in that weight class.
Yeah, and I heard, I heard Vivisection talk about how
He probably will have
guys like
that
him
belt.
and Henry Cejudo.
He probably will have that belt once DJ is done.
I could see that. I could see him definitely being one of the dudes up there.
31. You know, this kid's 24.
Yeah.
So 7 years younger. In 7 years, I can see Ray Borg being the champ. Or, well, clearly, DJ will probably be done in like 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, Ray Borg's been putting work in. If you look at, I mean, he's been fighting a ton. He fought, 3 times in 2014? 2 times in 2015, 2 times in 2016, and this is his second fight in 2017. So he's been putting in work, and his only losses as of late, his only losses ever are Justin Scoggins and Dustin Ortiz. So, dude is tough as shit. I just don't think that's going to be enough against DJ.
Yeah.
DJ's way too fucking crafty at everywhere in the game. If he upset DJ, this would be the biggest upset. This might surpass Sarah GSP.
It would.
Probably, right? Just on the level of upset. Especially it being DJ's title defense breaking fight.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty crazy.
And it's weird because you always go, oh, he's breaking Anderson's record. Wait a second. It's also his record, too, because he fucking tied it. I was like, can't you technically be breaking your own record?
Right.
That's the funny thing I was heard. He's breaking Anderson's record. It sounds cooler when they say that.
True.
Instead of he's breaking his own record.
True. But it's also, Anderson kind of has a weird asterisk next to his, too, because of
the whole HGH.
No,
right?
because some of his fights were at 205 because his opponents missed weight. Like the Luder fight was at 205.
That's right, Luder. He got sick or some shit.
He looked like he was dying. And then somebody else he fought at 205 while he was champ at 185.
He fought Forrest Griffin at 205 and beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah,
that was just like an exhibition fight.
Right? But
it was like a for fun fight.
Yeah, and he fought somebody else too. But
he fought Stephan Bonner.
Somebody like that.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I could see that being rough. Back when people weren't super high on Anderson. But yeah, I think DJ finishes this. I'm going to go probably TKO.
I'm going to go TKO round 3.
I say probably round... Yeah. I'm going to go round 2, but I could see round 2 or 3 right in there. DJ said within 4 on the countdown show, which makes me lean closer to 2 than 3, because that dude always overestimates by a lot.
It was funny. There was someone pretending to be a Conor fan, but was like, he's saying inside of 4 because he wants to be like Conor when Conor said inside of 4 against Floyd. But people didn't detect the sarcasm though.
Yeah, oh boy, these motherfuckers out there. So that brings us to our main event, which I am fucking hyped for. Tony Ferguson,
yes.
El Kakui, rep a 10th planet. Taking on Kevin the Motown Phenom Lee.
All I gotta say is, luckily for Tony, Kevin doesn't have a son.
Oh God. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I know that was like grasping real hard.
That's a sweet reference.
But you know what I mean, though. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Clearly, where's your son?
Yeah.
And
everyone.
Kevin would be like, you're dead.
Everyone still brings that up when they talk about Tony.
It's dumb, but it's funny. I'm sorry. It's still
a
easily
thing.
Besides season 5 and 10, that's the best. Season 13 is phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, apart from 10, 5, 1, and maybe
One,
two,
yeah,
maybe
one,
three.
yeah.
Wait, no, 2 sucked. 2 was the light heavy, or 2 was the heavyweights. 2 was bad, if I remember right. I think that was one where Randy Couture had people grabbing socks off the other dude's feet. Shit like that. Fucking Jesus, that show used to be bad. Oh. Right. So yeah, Kevin Lee is, of course, coming off the wins over Michael Chiesa.
Kevin Lee just...
Small asterisk next to that, and Francisco Trinaldo.
Yeah, Kevin Lee turned 25 over the summer. He's an up-and-coming...
Super young.
Well, we can't call him a prospect anymore.
Yeah. No, officially he's no longer a prospect.
He's a contender, clearly.
Yep. But, yeah, so, and then Tony coming off that crazy win over RDA, 5 rounds at Mexico City altitude, in which he's salsa dancing in the last round.
That shows you his cardio.
He's such a fucking freak, dude. It's crazy. And then he has the win over Orlando Venata, where they beat the living shit out of each other. And then the Edson Barboza win, where he got that Bravo in the second. Man, this is going to be a fun fucking fight. I love this matchup. Which way are you leaning on it?
I'm going Tony Ferguson. I think he's going to actually finish Kevin Lee in the middle of probably the third round.
I think that's the smart pick. You think sub or TKO?
He's going to TKO. It's going to be ground and pound. He's going to hit him with an elbow. One of those little slicing elbows. And it's going to fuck Lee up. Lee's going to shoot for a takedown. There's going to be nothing there. It'll be a scramble. And then Ferguson will either get like side control, and I think he's just going to hammer fist him or just short elbows.
Right, just kind of fuck him up with ground and pound off the scramble.
I mean, Lee's a very strong kid. Very fucking strong.
Super
big guy
strong.
For a lightweight. I think they're both the same height, about 5'11", something around there.
I think Lee's cutting like 20, 25 pounds this week.
He cuts, I think he said, from 182.
Yeah, something like that.
And Ferguson lately now cuts from about 182, 185. He lost a lot of weight, actually. He said he used to cut from 195.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, he's a giant person, anyway.
Remember I told you that...
He's like, what, 6 foot? Kevin Lee's 5'9", I think? Even though Kevin Lee has the longer reach, because he's a freak.
Oh, he's only 5'9". He's just bigger. Or wider, I should say.
Yeah, way wider.
Remember I told you that guy at Tap House a couple weeks ago? Bro, Nate Diaz easily walks at 215. And I'm like, dude, I'm not arguing with the drunk guy.
Some fucking Skip Bayless fan.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing with this moron. Because at best, Nate Diaz is 195. At fucking best. I'm sorry. He's not even 200 pounds. He's skinny.
100%.
No.
Like,
that guy's insane.
Nate Diaz maybe
and
sees 200 while he's drinking on a boat.
The clueless bartender and his other friend were like this. Look, he's 215. And they're like, yup. And I'm just like this, no. And I'm looking at Kyle. I'm like, dude, these guys are nuts. And Kyle's like, yeah.
Well, he did. And to be fair, you can't really prepare for Nate's sumo. So, you know, what are you going to do?
Sumo style wrestling, Shannon.
Jesus, I hate that.
And then
guy.
Shannon's like, skip. You're wrong. You're wrong. Skip. Okay, you're wrong.
God, they both know nothing.
Someone made it. I was on Barstool Sports. Sounds like when I be on Tinder, and it was just a compilation of Shannon saying skip. Nope, skip.
That's hilarious. Fucking Jesus. Oh, so
shouts out to Barstool Sports. They're pretty funny.
Right? So we should get back to this. But yeah, you like Tony by ground and pound.
Yeah.
I think, so I like, God, this is a hard one for me to pick. I actually have Kevin Lee.
Yeah, why not?
I have Kevin Lee in both my fantasy leagues, mostly because I think he probably lasts about 3 rounds at least. And you get extra points for having the main event.
That's right.
I don't know if Kevin Lee actually wins, though.
One thing I'll say is Tony Ferguson does get hit a lot.
He does. He gets clipped, especially early.
But I don't like to have zero confidence. I just don't have confidence in Lee's striking power. Cause
he hasn't been known to put people away.
Dude, like, even in the fight against Raging Al, he doesn't have the best
that was
chin.
A way different Raging Al.
And dude, he couldn't even put Raging Al. And Raging Al beat him. And I watched that fight again. He beat Kevin Lee. Granted, Kevin Lee was only 21. He was young. He was like
they both were way different back then.
But I would say Kevin Lee does not have the knockout power. At least I'm confident enough to say that he could finish Ferguson. The only way I see Lee winning this is if Tony slips on a logo. I'm just kidding. Basically, if Lee gets his back and just gets that rear naked in.
Yeah, like if
that's the only way I see him winning. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, the ways I see Kevin winning is, either Tony's chin is finally tested because he's taken so many big shots and he gets clipped with something, or Kevin Lee's able to get a takedown against the cage while Tony's getting up. He gets his back taken and he gets put the fuck to sleep. But that's going to be real hard to do against Eddie Bravo guy, who Eddie Bravo knows that the only way Kevin Lee's going to win this is via back take and RNC. That's all they're training right now. Man, I feel like the smart pick is Tony Ferguson via some kind of...
oh, dude, if you have money, put it on Kevin Lee, for sure.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I feel like Ferguson...
But the odds still aren't even that good, though.
I feel like Ferguson by sub is a decent... it's probably a decent pick.
That's probably the more realistic pick,
off of front headlocks.
Instead of by finish.
Yeah, off of...
by strikes.
Yeah, I think off of front headlock series, he probably either hits some kind of Anaconda or Darce. Possibly hits a guillotine, but I think he's probably going to look for something to stay on top. And he's really fucking good at Darces and Anacondas. I think that's probably the smart pick. I'm going to go Kevin Lee. I like Kevin Lee, and he keeps surprising me. I keep picking against him, and he keeps surprising me. And Tony Ferguson does get hit, and he does get into weird scrambles. And Kevin Lee is good at getting the better end of some weird scrambles, at least recently.
So, how about this?
So I'm going to go that way.
If Kevin wins... Well, okay, this thing. The winner of this fight, do you think Conor fights him?
I think I agree with what most people have been saying.
He'll fight Lee.
Yeah, he's not going to fight Tony.
I'd pick him against Lee, actually. Only because, like we discussed before, Conor is one of the most lethal fighters in the first round.
Well, and
that's the only reason why. And because Kevin Lee's chin isn't all that great.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing that I'm not sure about is if Lee beats Ferguson, damn, that says something about Lee. Especially if he finishes Ferguson... Conor got his back taken by fucking Floyd Mayweather 1,800 times.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, I know that literally means nothing, but my point is if Kevin Lee can put out somebody like Tony Ferguson with his grappling, Conor does not have the grappling game.
And this is the thing that's scary to me. Kevin Lee said, if I win, I'm going to maybe grant Conor a title shot. Sure, that's him talking shit.
Oh, for sure.
Realistically, if Conor's like, fuck it, I don't want to fight you, I'll fight Nate. Kevin says he's going to fight Khabib. However, I would pick Khabib in that fight based on his grappling against Kevin Lee. I'm sorry, Kevin Lee. I think Khabib would wrestle the fuck out of you.
But I think Kevin Lee could box the shit out of Khabib.
Oh, of course, on the feet, yeah. But I'm saying, it'd be over. I'm sorry.
I mean, Kevin Lee's been calling for that fight for 4 fights now.
Yeah. But if I were to bet money, I'd say Khabib would beat Kevin Lee right now.
Probably.
Just because I'd be confident he'd be able to duck, swoop in, and take him down, and it'd be lights out.
Probably, but...
His grappling is so fucking next level.
Yeah, but man, I don't know. I'm pretty high on Kevin Lee, so either way, I'm excited to see how this fight turns out. And if Kevin Lee does win, I'm excited. I'm excited either way to see what they say.
I like both guys. Honestly, who would I want to win? I'd probably say Ferguson because he deserves it more. It's fucked up to say that in fight.
No,
he
really
does. He's won 9 fights in a row. It's
fought
insane.
Everybody and
he's cleaned He's cleaned the division out. He literally has cleaned. He is pretty much the uncrowned champ, technically.
I mean, if you were going to pick one, he's the one.
He's the best lightweight overall right now in the world,
for sure.
Do you think he'd beat Michael Chandler? Because people say, "Oh, what about Bellator, Michael Chandler?" I don't know.
Michael Chandler gets hit way too much.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he does.
And he doesn't. Michael Chandler.
Michael Chandler would get 5'8"
choked
too?
the fuck unconscious by Tony.
He's kind of tiny-ish, right?
He's not that small, but
he's like a Mendez build, right?
He could not hang with Tony's grappling. Like Tony would 100% put that dude to sleep with a Bravo or a Darce.
Yeah,
he's nasty.
And his reach advantage.
Yeah. Or Bravo or Anaconda, rather. Is there a difference between... I always fuck up... I know the difference between Anaconda and Bravos is the head position.
Or which arm you're using as your lead choke arm or something like that,
I should know this stuff.
I think it's literally left arm, right arm, as far as which one reaches across.
Probably.
It's something dumb, some technicality like that.
I don't do nearly enough jiu-jitsu to ever remember the difference to that. So shouts out to us knowing not shit, but talking out of our ass. But I'm hyped for this fight. This card overall, I think, is fun. I think it's... After looking at 217 a lot lately, this card is not nearly as good as 217.
Well, no card this year is.
True. But I think it has some fun fights, especially up at the top of it. A couple fun heavyweight fights where someone's definitely going to sleep. I just think it'll be interesting. This could be one of those fight cards where everyone's like, damn, there's fucking 19 finishes out of 12 fights, or whatever it is. But it could also be one where you see a lot of dudes staring at each other. It kind of these prelims, I think, will either go very quickly or actually, no, I lied. They're on FXX, so they're going to go very slowly, because that's how the fuck Fox pacing is.
How fun.
But the Fight Pass card should be fun. I think the Fight Pass card is going to have some bangers on it, so I would definitely recommend not missing that. And we will be back next week, because I don't really have anything else to say on this one.
Yeah, I'm good.
But we will go ahead and wrap it here. Like we say every week, if you guys have any suggestions of MMA podcasts we should be listening to, absolutely shoot them out to us. You can hit us up. The Pulver on Twitter, or at TSOV Pod, or what's your Twitter handle again?
Or just at Chris Medaffer, my name.
There you go. Or you can send us an email, sovpod@gmail.com or chris@thesoundofviolence.com. Hit us up, let us know what we should be listening to. Also, we already have a suggestion for our next commentary track, because evidently Stephen Bonner has a movie that he stars in.
Wait,
which Judo Bill Tyler told us about.
What about your girlfriend Karen liking Triple X?
That's true. Girlfriend Karen does like Triple X, so those are both on the docket. We'll get to them both eventually, I'm sure.
Can we see a foreseeable return of G6?
Oh, G6 will definitely be back, because that last commentary was fucking chaos. But I am hyped for that, so look forward to that at some point. And like I said, let us know what podcast we should be listening to. We also have tried to be more active on Twitter, or at least I've tried to use our account a bit more, at least to retweet like some dope podcasts that we're listening to during the week, stuff like that, or new shows that we hear about. So if you guys follow us, TSOV Pod on Twitter, we're definitely be trying to give you some insight as to what shit you should be listening to as the week goes on. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it there. I feel like I'm forgetting to plug something. Sub on iTunes, which you might already do. MMApodcast.com is tight. MMA Tycoon game is cool. Unfortunately, Yen Askren lost the 185 title at the Beatdown.
Yeah.
By the way, the Beatdown is the name of the league that I'm in.
That's great. You should call your fight team or the Savage Science.
Oh, God, that's terrible. I do have another guy, Ben Bulver, fighting on this card this weekend against Mickey Vicky.
You just make Jake, or the guy, what's his name? Case?
What's it?
Case Walker?
I don't remember any
Who
of the
was Michael J.
people.
Net? Isn't it like Case Walker or something?
Sure, something like
something
that.
terrible.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go sign up for MMA Tycoon. We always put a link in the description for this, and if you sign up, I'll send you a bunch of free t-shirts in-game, because you can fucking buy shirts for your fighters. It's weird. It's alright, though. It's kind of cool. So check that out, and like I said, tell us what fucking shows we should be listening to. I feel like there's dope MMA shows that we don't know about, and
I haven't listened to like a new one in a while.
Well, we will definitely, you know what, next week, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this as well. Next week we will listen to Ken Shamrock's new podcast.
Okay, right on.
As well as maybe we'll listen to Laura Sanko's new one with Megan Anderson. I will cover at least one of those. So you look forward to that, and we're going to wrap it there. But, yeah, man, I'm kind of hyped for this card. So until next time, everybody, go do some decking in. We out.